closer, but time is not in his favor. He has a challenge to shotgun close, and Wood's gonna get it!
Do some damage. Nikolai from the backside! Finds Wisdom again! It would be a big one. He's finding the first. Can he find it? Swing again!
What? Left in a 1v3. Make that a 1v2. Make that a 1v1. Oh my goodness, Nitro sell out. And who's gonna stop him?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the third quarterfinal for SCS Season 6. I am Lynx, joined by Benny, and we had two underway yesterday, and if you want to take a look, if you happen to miss it, it was actually a couple surprises, at least in my opinion, from yesterday. The game I personally casted was a one-shot Mystic. Not as good of a showing for Mystic as I thought. The first game, though, another surprise there, Benny. Surf actually had a fight on all three maps against Achieve.
Yeah, Chief actually doing a lot more I thought to do. I didn't really see the whole entire game, but I looked at, the scoreboard, looked at the stats, and wow, yeah, they were definitely giving Surf a fight. That's what we want to see from these teams, despite, Achieve being one of the lesser known teams, less known players. Well, maybe not lesser known players. We know these players from Challenger League, from other T3 tournaments, but really we didn't expect them to quite do as well as they did, so it's great to see it there. Looking to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, of course, as you can see, it was on Cafe where Achieve managed to win map number 2, 8-6 with that beautiful play inside of Freezer thanks to Tracken and Twizzler. But on Oregon, unfortunately, Surf still were the better team, unfortunately for Achieve, that is. They were not able to come out as the victor on map number 3, and now Surf, a team that I think many people predicted would win that series, but maybe a little bit more strongly, had a little bit more fight to go through. On the opposite side of that, Mystic versus One Shot, most of us predicted One Shot, and they did end up winning, but I myself even said I believed that Mystic, again, one of the best amateur teams right now with what some people argue pro league level talent. Of course, you can say one way or the other, but definitely some undeniable talent on this roster. Ended up falling 2-0 to One Shot in the final map their pick. They lost 7-2 to One Shot on Coastline, a map that historically hasn't really been a strong point for them. So definitely sad to see them go out on such a note, but as we will talk about later on in the show, Benny,
yeah,
it's not SCS Stage 1. It's not exactly the last time you will have the opportunity to play in this tournament. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, there's more to SCS than just this, but here's the bracket for you guys. Of course, you saw those two games yesterday on the left and right. Team Mystic versus One Shot, Surface Achieve. Today we've got 2FACED versus ARIAL Academy and Oculus Carn & Co. for today's two games, and they'll go on to quarterfinals or semifinals tomorrow. But still, looking good so far. Be interesting, and I'm really interested to see who wins it out today, who actually plays One Shot, because that's going to be a difficult game.
Yeah, that is definitely One Shot. While oddly enough, their performance in invite calls was actually a lot stronger than it's been at SCS so far. They've been a bit shaky in this league so far. A 2-0 to start out yesterday against Mystic. Whoever has to go up against them, it was already going to be a pretty daunting matchup. Now, especially now that they've killed one of the Titans, lot to think about going into that series for whoever plays them. But to take a look at the two teams playing right now in this series, 2FACED versus ARIAL Academy. Starting out with 2FACED, the roster that has been revamped and revitalized, all by changing just one or two people. Poison being the big pickup, brought structure to this roster that for a long time the aggro core just liked running around and playing. If they want to come out on top versus ARIAL Academy, that's actually some of the energy they need to channel today. This roster was known for being, well, aside from their name, very aggressive on maps. This is something that if you want to go against ARIAL Academy, a team that is a little bit more unstructured, just kind of playing by the feeling of the round, that's something you want to do. But at the same time, it's sometimes ARIAL Academy's weakness on their defenses, especially, which have been a weak point. They start out in the first 45 seconds with a game plan, but quickly seems to be thrown in disarray. If 2FACED can capitalize on that, they should be able to clean this up pretty quickly.
Yeah, a lot of times we watch ARIAL Academy's defense attacks, and we've always questioned them at times, because at times they do look good, but at times you don't really know what's going on at the same point. But yeah, ARIAL Academy, Spiker, Hypers, Frozen, Vena, and Dami. This has been Spiker and Vena so far has been really the two members we've seen time and time again really prevail for the team. But the other players, Frozen, Hypers, Dami, we haven't seen quite as much from those three players, and it's kind of been a top heavy performance from ARIAL Academy. It's not something you need to see when it comes to really from the playoffs, though, because that's going to be a weakness. That's something they're gonna figure out, and they're gonna take advantage of when it comes to these playoff games.
Yeah, of course. And it's not entirely top heavy, I will say. Dami has certainly been up there, but Hypers and Frozen have left a little to be desired, and Spiker and Vena have definitely been putting in an arm and a leg effort compared to some of the other members. But to see where we're going today, We're going to have Coastline like yesterday. We're going to have Chalet. No, we won't have Oregon, but we will have Clubhouse, Cafe, and Villa, as you can see. The thing we always say when we have this veto play out is that at this level, amongst these teams, these are some of the most commonly played maps in the pool, especially Clubhouse and Equalizer to start out between these two teams. It's a map that Ariel Academy will most likely be perfectly fine to go play. And for 2FACED to pick it, that might be the map where they face the most troubles. But Cafe for Ariel, certainly it's something they picked, but they have some troubles on there in the past too. So for both teams, honestly, this is not a map where both teams are like, oh yeah, this is 100% in their field. There's definitely some good chances for upsets on both sides.
Yeah, fortunately, we're on those, those same amateur team maps you always see, those 3 maps you always see when it comes to this level of play. So anything can really happen here, but really, as long as, 2FACED stick to the basics, just know what they're doing, and as you said, exploit those defenses. Don't get too crazy, but at the same point, you need some aggro energy, saying, "Wow, yeah, those are predictions." Hey, you're up there 73% though.
Wait, I'm tied with the most with Max. Wow,
yeah, you are.
Wow,
you're
I'm
the
the
top
goat
of the board. You should be an analyst.
I'm doing it right now, Benny. I'm quite literally doing it as we speak. So maybe you're onto something there. But I mean, it's no disrespect to Ariel Academy, of course. They definitely had I would say not the easiest run in SCS so far, and they're definitely one of the underdogs going into playoff. It's not that they can't win this series. It's just when you look at these two teams, 2FACED, of course, coming into the playoffs 2-0, they literally beat Ariel's main team to get here. It's hard to see a world where even if it's a 3-mapper, that 2FACED aren't the ones coming out on top. The Ariel Academy, there have been a lot of really bright spots, at least in terms of their individual play. Maybe they aren't strategic geniuses, but hey, they can at least frag out, especially when Venatorial and Spiker are showing up. But for 2FACED, it's been a little bit more consistent, and with that history in mind for Ariel Academy, it's just, Benny, maybe you disagree a little bit, but it's hard to see a world where 2FACED aren't able to close this out, whether it takes 2 or 3 maps.
It's hard to disagree, it really is, especially because you saw 2FACED's last game against Aerial Rise, and some of that aggression we see from those players like Vena and Spiker that give them those rounds. We've seen it cut down and stopped by 2FACED against Aerial Rise, against people like Gomez, people like, Gomez or DS or other players from Aerial Rise who are those gunners. So it's like, can you really see 2FACED losing this in that same vein? It's difficult. It's like, unless all 5 members of Ariel Academy are popping off today. We see Hyper, we see Frozen, we see Dami doing the roles to the T, even going farther than they usually do. Maybe there's a chance. Clubhouse maybe where we can see that.
Maybe. Well, we did mention earlier, by the way, Mystic's out. Oh, JJ didn't qualify. What's happening? There is more opportunities to compete in SCS after Stage 1 ends. And would you like to know what those are? Well, you can see them right there. On January 3rd to January 5th, we have a mid-season tournament with 3 registrations. So you don't have to worry about not having enough money after Christmas, or if you spend it all on a Mavix gaming chair or Mike and Ike's, you can still show up to play. And of course, afterwards, the thing that I imagine most people are looking more than the mid-season tournament, you have Stage 2 qualifiers from January 7th to January 9th, then a second bout of qualifiers from January 14th to the 16th. So we're not waiting, a month or 2 in 2022 to get started. No. The moment this ends, we are hitting the ground running with a mid-season tournament and Stage 2 qualifiers soon after.
Yeah, this is still going. This isn't the end of it. We're not like going to go on a hiatus and disappear for a year or something like that. No, it's still going.
We're not like the Avatar. We're staying. No. We're not letting the Fire Nation take power.
There's still more to go. There's still more chances to show up, and then of course to qualify. If you win Stage 2, or you win the tournament, get a chance at the Pro-Am. And I think TBD February sometime around there. I don't know when exactly.
Yeah, of course, more dates on that will be, I imagine, released once we get the mid-season tournament and the Stage 2 qualifiers out of the way. And of course, Stage 2 out of the way after that, where teams like Mystic, who had a great showing here, I imagine will, even if they don't win, we will see more of them in Stage 2. And hey, I think the big thing we're all hoping for, I believe this time, it'll be JJ's time this go around. Trust the process, it'll happen. But we have all 10 players in the lobby. Let's get into the series. Map 1 of Clubhouse is on the board. Who's taking it home? It's 2FACED pick. Can they pull it out?
Well, hey, they're starting off on the, I don't know if I consider it the favorite side, really, because really, I don't know what to consider favorites at this point when Clubhouse. It could be even, really.
I'd say it leans a little bit more attack, but honestly, it really just depends on the team.
Yeah,
it can be even.
Depends on the bands, and if we get the same bands and always, maybe.
Listen, I imagine I'm not expecting anything crazy out of these two teams. Hibana band to start out from 2FACED on club especially.
Yep.
This is not something that is out of their wheelhouse or that we will not expect. For ARIAL Academy, I'd imagine a Thatcher band would be next on the boards. But, what do I know?
Yeah, what do you, there's no way. You don't want to ban EMPs from there. You don't want to get rid of that.
No way. Oh my god, crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And actually, here's what I will say. One nice thing is that ARIAL Academy actually haven't banned Thatcher all that much in the league so far, so they've at least liked to give us something different, but still hard to say it's not going to happen.
I guess it depends if they want to change things up and maybe not ban Mira and ban maybe Kaid or ban a different defender. Maybe.
Kaid ban would certainly go well, make some of those hatches a lot easier to get, but no. It's a Mira ban.
Well, same old. We're on to the same bands, and really, you can't fault them. You can't.
You can't fault them.
You can't fight them with others. It's a mirror. Mirrors are so difficult and create so much obstacles for the defense or for the attack. I mean, and Hibana as well, having the ability to use 2, 4, or 6x gyros at once or pellets. There's no reason not to ban them.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams sticking with comfort bans, both for them and the meta as a whole. So nothing much more beyond that. First side up. What do you know? It's one of the seemingly more preferred or commonly played sites on Clubhouse. Basement to start out. And one of the more common strats that we see. An extended roam with operators all throughout the map. A 6-pick from the Echo to the Castle, maybe to try and bait them a little bit like, hey, we're not going for it, but with the Vigil, the Mute, and the Mozzie on the board, I mean, Ben, we all know. We all know what they're going for.
Yeah. How about to say, I don't know if really 6-picking the castle really changes much here, really, because at this point, it's to be expected.
Ariel's running out. They see the castle barricades. They're like, what?
It's not like there's a sledge on their lineup or anything, really.
I can't believe it. We've been bamboozled, boys. Stupefied by you.
Well, and the question is now, will ARIAL Academy actually try to push this roam though? Because like you talked about before, strategically they haven't been the best. Teamwork wise, it hasn't been the greatest from ARIAL Academy. So do they have what's in them to really clear this roam?
Well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of the criticism they get are actually on their defensive side, which is a little bit weaker, of course. Their attacking side can sometimes be a bit shaky, but they do have, I believe, it's something like, I think it's over 50% attacking win rate so far. So this is the better side. So hey, if it's running an extended roam or clearing an extended roam, statistically speaking, they are more so favored to clear it than win it. But we'll have to see if that works here. Is he Splash getting aggressive inside a server? Mute Jammer on that plat wall. Nothing Frozen can do right now to open it up.
Oh, Drone gets spotted. So Dami does know there's one inside of server. Will somebody from ARIAL Academy set up with Dami to try and get this off? And because they're opening up that wall, because the Mute Jammers, they can't cover the entire wall, can only top the bottom of it or the mid half of it. So they can open up some of that plat wall and use some of that utility so far to try and clear his roamers out. And there's definitely quite a few. There's 3 members on that top floor. 2FACED maybe looking to try and hold it. One person peeking out from lounge. Dami's by himself here, so someone you take it slow here. Wait until someone else is in position to try and help him out for the refrag, as Hyper is in a great place to cut off the roamers coming back to site.
Catches Eddie crossing as well on that drone just as he goes on it. Impact opened up. He can now try to escape, suffer some damage in response. Hyper's moves to maybe cut him off, but no, instead, Eddie manages to make his way downstairs alongside kicks from that top floor. Now Splash is the only one left, who will also make his way downstairs pretty soon after. Maybe try to get that Gemini clone as it flies on through. We'll get it. Also try to catch maybe Hyper's getting a little bit aggressive without some intel, but he too will likely rotate down pretty quickly.
So everyone's downstairs. That's the roam dealt with in a sense, or pushed back. Minute 30. There's still time. Nothing too crazy. They wasted too much time. They have wasted utility, though. That's kind of the main part for this roam, is that they wasted quite utility. Wasted impacts, wasted exothermic charges. But again, because it's a roam, there's probably some hatches already open, like that moto hatch. So they shouldn't have to use too much. It's really going to depend on whether or not 2FACED can keep this kitchen hatch closed. Because, of course, there's impacts in the hand of Silent who can still impact trick that hatch. And, of course, there are Selmas in the hands of one Selma and one exothermic charge. So there's not really much they can play with here when it comes to getting the hatch open. Otherwise, they're going to go for that kitchen wall maybe instead. And I wonder how they're going to get it open then. They have to throw a grenade over the wall at that point to get rid of the Mute Jammers.
Well, that's exactly what Hypers will do. Try to send one over. Might be able to take down Silent, but no, it banks off the top of the wall. It's actually nothing on it right now, so Frozen could be free to just use one Selma charge to open it up. C4, just like the frag grenade, gets stuck on the wall, but it does actually take down the Selma charge. There's still one exothermic to open up that wall, though, so a lot of hard reaching for Aerial Academy. No! The impact trick misses. It does not destroy the thermite charge. Kix tries to take down the thermite inside of Moto, but he's felled by the very player he's trying to seek. Silent, the only one with a kill so far, and now it's Eddie, the only one left to try and save this round. Venatorial down on the floor, but still 3 bodies for Aerial Arise Academy up. He can't even shoot the one aiming at him. Aerial take the first round, and the pretty, I'd say, not a quick clear of the roam, but a fairly quick transition down to the bottom floor.
I definitely agree there. It wasn't so much a quick roam clear, but they did it in a good enough time where there wasn't much of a deficit when it came to getting that push down. And then they were, like you said, they were quick on transition. They went straight for the wall. They knew what they were doing. There was no confusion on what the play was going to be. It was going for that church wall. And, well, I thought it was going to be muted so they couldn't go for that player and make it difficult, though he did have a grenade in hand to destroy that mute jammer. But I did notice that Kix still had a mute jammer in his pocket. So they may be trying to mute jam. I don't know what the mute jammer was for in his pocket, but that allows them to open that wall up. And unfortunately, because they opened up church, they had people with Moto. The person in blue wasn't in a position to deny the push either way. And you saw kills coming way of Aerial Academy left and right. Kix playing, close to the door, gets picked off. They pick off another person back in blue, and really just came down to just fight after fight in that last minute, just going in the way of Aerial Academy.
What's kind of the sad thing is, I believe Kix swung Moto with a shotgun and actually downed Venatorial, and Vena just happened to kill him before he got down. So
is that,
it seemed like
wow?
It seemed like a nice shot from Vena, and honestly, if Kix gets that kill, even that down and survives, but in this case it'd be the kill, round might go not entirely differently, but still a little bit better for 2FACED, and more of a chance to win it out. But the way things go sometimes, Venatorial reacted quickly, and the shotgun was not fortunate to not favor Kix that day. They're going the same side again, but not extending nearly as far. The Echo is stuck, intel all along the site, so Aerial won't have to spend any time clearing out that top floor, but they will have a lot more to deal with on this bottom floor. Not as easy of an entry into the site.
Yeah, it seems to be the same play, and well, we'll see if they're able to impact trick this time, because maybe it couldn't be different if they were
that could have been big too.
Yeah, impact trick exo charge, or have the mute jammer on the wall and not in your pocket. Maybe it could have been different. But I will say too, like, they wasting utility, but they didn't really waste a whole lot on that roam. Really, they still had a minute 30 to really play with, so maybe it'd be different if they got a kill, wasted more time. But hey, that's in the past. In the future now, or in the present now, we'll see. In the present, we'll see if they can now, what's going to happen here. Again, no roamers, so they should have no problem walking straight in, taking that control they need and going to work. And now we're going to see how will Aerial Academy do when, well, now they have to deal with that, more of that utility play here from 2FACED rather than going for that roam play.
Well, some heavy prioritization on the hard breach as well. We see Hypers pick up the Ace, the Yana Foregone, and Frozen picks up the Maverick. So all 3 remaining hard breachers, of course, Hibana taken down. All the other 3 primary hard breachers are on the board for Aerial. That does mean, while they do have another set of nades, they are lacking that Gone and other set of nades for Yana. So the Evil Eye is on the site, the Malusis, if they're not in a position to be triggered, the 2 deployable shields. There are quite a bit of utility the Aerial have to clear that. They have some nades for Frozen, but it is going to be a little bit less than what they had before, perhaps. Right now, haven't faced much pressure yet. Just content to open up these hatches, maybe transition opening up the walls later. Still thinking about the impact trick, but what a tight shot by Eddie. Able to spot the sledge through the floor, and I mentioned one of those sets of nades. It's off the board. You're all left up to Frozen for that utility.
Yeah, he was trying to open up holes and deal with an impact trick, which the only person impact right now is Eddie, so he's the only person impact trick, but he's still there. Impact trick, I forget the Maestro as well. Silence there, trying to deny that church wall. He does successfully, actually, as well, which is big there. So there goes the Selmos from Hypers, but he still have Vena with one, and Dami, the barbed wire. He still wins the fight, though. Great shot and kicks. Blue is now contention. That's a big point for the side of Aerial Academy. If they can just cause more confusion, poke some more heads out, put some more weaknesses into this defense, it's going to be big for the execute, as looks like they're trying to go for a church execute, but can they get that church wall open?
Nade sent on through. Looked like it was cooked and lined up very well, but it's caught by an ADS, and Silent is safe for the moment with the DMR trying to contest those main stairs, but the left side of his wall is open up too. Still manages to get a kill. 2, in fact! Hyper is caught sleeping at the wheel on the bottom of main stairs. Silence on low HP, but it doesn't matter for him. Can he get the third as well? There's intel on his position, but he doesn't need that. Just one shot to the brain is enough to knock Dami on the floor. Frozen drops down the hatch with Diffuser on the floor below him, trying to pick it up, but now it's vice versa. It was Silence stuck in a corner with 3 bodies around him. Now it's Frozen getting a taste of his own team's medicine. Poison down, his feet spotted behind the shield. Splash goes for the peek, but again, low HP. Too aggressive of a fight for him to win. There's still Eddie to round it out. 2FACED answer back. Ariel's win with one of their own.
Oh, yeah, again, that was a round where we were coming down to the utility play from the side of 2FACED rather than going for the Roman. Well, they dealt with utility in blue. Good clear blue to start us off. But then the point of contention is going for Church. They get the Church wall open. You saw the Soma get part of it open. You get the second part open as well with exothermic charge. But it was Silent playing behind that single wall that was still reinforced, able to deny both players pushing from main towards that wall, both the Thermite and I believe the Sledge. And then from there, it was the blue push was the only real contention at that point because Frozen was still upstairs. You had 2 members going for blue, and it was still Silent to get one of those kills onto one of the members in blue. Second person goes down to another player on the side of 2FACED, and then it's Frozen by himself. So really, it just, again, here it's more just that gunplay here, really, at this point, too. And again, Aero Academy doing their due diligence when it comes to utility, but unfortunately this time they're not able to get the kills they need to.
Now rotating up to Gym Bedroom. 2FACED will defend Gym Bedroom in the way you, well, need to defend Gym Bedroom. Some bodies stuck inside a CCTV and cache. There's probably some presence in logistics as well. Of course, without a mirror on the board, you can't have, say, a mirror inside of logistics. You can only have a hole opened up, so not as easy to play inside of that position if that operator was on the board. It's not. One slight adjustment is sometimes teams will choose to leave that plat wall soft and instead directly focus on inside a cache. ARIAL have decided to, 2FACED have decided to both reinforce it and double a Rooney gate it as well. So heavily trying to slow down the entry for ARIAL moving in to clear out this roam.
Yeah, that's a lot here on cache. This extension is being there's a lot of dependency maybe on this roam clear, on this roam inside extension inside a cache here for them. Of course, EMP is finally used here. I think it's like second time I've seen that used actually. And it's pretty big.
Garage.
Yeah, it's helping him to stay up here. And he's actually in garage using the same BP on there. And he does take some damage to Hypers who's running by, but it's playing Capital. Not very often you see Capital splash takes a bit of damage, peeks on through, still gets the kill on a dummy despite the fire at his feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like an attrition play style. Well, they might have known the Capital was on the board, but knowing that, once that firebolt sends out, you're just playing your life at that point. The fact that he's able to get a kill, odds are he was going to die in that position. So getting a Zofia on your way out, definitely something that 2FACED will be happy about. They clear inside of cache as well is stunted a little bit as, well, some time they could have used to clearing out kicks and on top of red stairs was wasted trying to navigate around Splash inside a garage. Hypers down a flame bolt, could send another one through, but with how many magnets are stacked on that door, it's unlikely. He's desperately trying to find an angle onto Kicks, hoping the Wamai peeks out from around that shield. The Kicks, while he's doing it, is still not doing it very frequently, so Hypers wants to continue with that playstyle. He's got to time his shots right, but a minute 30's been wasted, and aside from Hypers creeping into CCTV, not much ground has been gained beyond garage.
You can tell there's so much utility on this red stairs as well. So this kind of forces Aero Academy not to go for another play because they're even trying to waste the utility to try and clear the shield. Hyper is in a position to just walk in. So cover. Poison goes down. Great job, Hypers. They know he's red, but Kicks is just gonna back off, go down to the basement, return the site back to the main stairs, and that's that cache control now in the hands of Aero Academy. Great job, Hypers, to worm his way through where they weren't expecting him.
Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of an oversight. They had somebody on red stairs, but nobody inside a CCTV. So that does actually mean that Kicks was a little bit more exposed than we initially thought, but with how much utility was placed there, that explains why it was so difficult. He's able to rotate back down and move back to the site. So it's a 3v4, but Kicks managed to navigate and create himself a pathway that doesn't open himself up to any angles. Hyper is pushing it through the construction door. Oh no, Eddie turned his back just at the wrong time. An impact grenade sent out, so Hypers didn't decide to make his push just yet. Firebolt sent out. 2v4. Eddie slowly moving from behind that shield up to the bedroom doorway. Yet catches one right outside the gym door, but he vaults right as Frozen peaks. Kicks, the man who survived the red stairs clear, now the only one left. He's pushed back onto main, so odds are this bomb is going down. There's not much Kicks can do to stop it. But do the attackers know where he is positioned? Nade put on the top of those stairs, one holding close on his Logi door, and all the utility dumped his direction. Yeah, I have a feeling Arial are aware of the Wamai's position. He's able to pick up one. Spiker knocked down to the floor, but Frozen retakes the gunfight, gets the trade, and takes the lead for Arial once again.
Back and forth we go. We'll probably see them do play his bomb site again, but that one was really Aero Academy really doing well to deal with that extension. Now, it was 2FACED. You saw how much utility they put onto the extension. There was ADSs, there was a Rooney Gates everywhere. But unfortunately, nobody's playing Cash with Kix. Kix was the only one playing it on red by himself. Poison had a position where he was trying to hold from bedroom to try and hold the cross if they entered Cash. But you saw right there, it was Hypers to walk in, take that fight, despite Poison, I guess, holding the angle, he loses that fight, and that kind of just forces Kicks and then rotate back downstairs. And really at that point, we saw that the members of Aero Academy get to the, they've cleared CCTV, they can get on the balcony, start taking fights from the windows. They open up that jacuzzi wall as well, and there you can see there's grenades flying through, and the members inside of bedroom. We saw members losing their life, members Logi, whether it be insight to grenades to gunfights. Just kind of unfortunately that 2FACED not able to hold onto the ground because there wasn't any utility on site for them to really hold off either, because they'd all placed it in Cash.
Moving to CCTV, no real choice other than to place the majority of your utility on the site. So, well, I suppose garage as well, not technically the site, but you get what I mean. You don't have the same way as gym and bedroom, so maybe a fault that 2FACED defense have had. Literally don't have a choice but to remedy it here on CCTV and Cash. Do have a lounge player, of course, holding down below. No bandit for 2FACED, so you're not going to have somebody actively bandit tricking, but still just trying to deny that bit of control for the attack to go from below, but also to allow the defense an opportunity to C4 later on, or just provide another obstacle the attack has to clear.
Well, you see, yeah, this obstacle, can they clear it though? As it's running through, and well, it looks like there's one more Splash running all the way. Oh, actually, it's Silent. Splash was the last one, but Silent here on the far side, playing the side of Strip, maybe for a chance to run on somebody who may be repelling over by that garage side. As usually you see this is pretty often seen, and of course the Kaid is still on the board, so they can electroclaw these two garage doors, and more Mavericks on the board from Frozen, so it should be a problem. They also can try and throw grenades and try and burn those electroclaws through grenades, but maybe Kix is maybe trying to move them for the moment.
Yep, you can see Silent calls out that there's not really many players trying to take down those garage walls right now. So in response, Kix takes off both of his Electroclaws and moves one to the con single panel, yes, and likely the other will be dedicated to Plot Wall. There is a Maverick, of course, on the board, so they could cut through either of those pretty quickly. For Arial right now, the focus appears to be that construction wall instead of the Plot Wall. No real attention, besides some Maverick holes made early on, is being paid to that wall. They stuck Dami out there once it was opened up, and all that's well and good. No garage control. Instead, they are trying to go for a split take to open up that construction wall and then move on in. It can be a little bit difficult, especially if garage control has not been taken or the garage player's not been cleared, but Splash is rotated in, so maybe they won't have to worry about it.
It's been good intel though, so they have control of Con already. They know where the electrical is, so this has been quick work by Aero Academy to gain this control. But you know that grenade comes up, destroys electrical, so now they can open up with a Vena. Another grenade comes through on a Splash. Great grenades from Frozen, both destroying the electrical and getting a kill for his team. And so far, Aero Academy have really been doing this quickly. Silence in a place maybe to try and deny the external charge from the hatch. He can try and just shoot it off, but looks like he's being tracked by the person. Great intel by Aero Academy. Down goes Silent. Hypers will Finn take him out. He'll come deal with the flanker downstairs, and now it's up to really 2FACED at this point to make a play.
Thankfully, Kix still has that angle inside a garage, so combined with Poison playing on red, it's not the best, but it's still manageable for what they have at the moment. Smoke grenades going out, choking off that con wall. Either Kix or Poison is feeling like they have to make a play, peek that player on plat balcony, but Dami takes not one, or he does take one down, not both of them. Either way, does leave Eddie all alone in a 1v5, even worse odds than the round prior. Hypers pre-fires that pretty easily, hearing the barbed wire give away the Goyo's fate. 3-1 right now for Aerial Rise Academy.
Wow, yeah, so far, Aerial Rise Academy, they have shown us just utility-wise and just playing these attacking rounds, they have shown us, these great attacks. And just like that last one, they opened up Plat quickly. they went over immediately within the first minute or so over towards control of Master, control of Khan, and they were going to work to make sure they can open up Khan wall within really a speedy time. I think by a minute and a half, we had both walls open, and there were also members of 2FACED that already been dealt with, grenades from Frozen, that dealt with Silent downstairs. And it comes to just the execute at that point with plat wall open, with 2 members down on 2FACED. 2FACED has to try to make plays and try and bring it back, and we saw they're just again and again being stopped by ARIAL Academy. And if they keep this up, though, maybe we'll all be wrong.
Well, 2FACED will in response take a tactical timeout, talk over their problems so far, try to get things under control going into the rest of their defenses. Of course, as you recall, this is their map pick, so 3-1 starting out. Not the best, but still plenty of time for recovery to try and bring this back. Do have the option to go back down to basement now this side is opened up. It's the only one that has worked for them so far. I imagine they'll go with their same strategy that we saw, not instead going for that roam, but focusing more on the site. They were able to make good work with those impact grenades the second go around, and thankfully some gunfights went their way through the ceiling. That by the time ARIAL Academy transitioned down to the site, there wasn't really not much more that 2FACED needed to do, but still enough that they had some hiccups along the way. It's exactly what they'll do. Go back down to basement, run that same setup. Hopefully they find out some of those issues, Benny.
Yeah, I think this time ARIAL Academy can somehow synchronize that play through blue, because last time they took control of blue, but they weren't really able to make use of it in time before, Silent was really that main culprit to stop the push into church. Because if you have blue control, you can try and deal with those players inside church to make that transition better going onto the site. But like you said too, losing your sledge early to a great shot from Eddie, unfortunately made it more difficult too. We don't have that sledge to try and open the floor above these players. So we'll see this time what they do, if how different it is for ARIAL Academy. We'll see maybe if they go for a different play, because they've gone twice for that same church play, and 2FACED probably more aware of that happening once again. It'll be a lot more difficult for them. Well, assuming it will be. Maybe it won't be.
I mean, it might not. Who knows? Hypers, of course, as you saw, picking from the Yana to the Ace. They're just running back the same attacking lineup they did in the, well, ironically enough, the round that they lost, but still not going for all those hard breaching. Not at all a bad decision. One that makes perfect sense for ARIAL Academy to go for. Another nice thing here, you talk about synchronizing that blue play. One problem that we saw that didn't actually... could have been bigger for 2FACED had Kicks not been taken down, but there was an Echo sitting inside of blue actively feeding the Jaeger intel, so there was still potential for Kicks to cause some more trouble inside of blue, stop ARIAL from synchronizing with their church players and getting blue control. We'll have to see right now. One player already, I believe... Nope, not in their garage. It was just over by that area. Got a bit worried for a second, not gonna lie.
Really, Dommy's just rushing
is he
in
in?
the
I can't
garage.
tell.
Well, we'll see this time. Well, nobody's roaming again once again from 2FACED, so this should be no problem for members of ARIAL Academy. Just work their way through, so open the floor up, and of course they're going to destroy those default cameras and make their way in. Well, whether or not Eddie can get that first pick and deny that push, but so far it looks like, yeah, again, you have the sledge of Spiker upstairs opening up holes, maybe open up a hole onto main stairs to make sure that nobody's getting aggressive where they're not expected. Eddie here will be that expected play, as it should be Spiker to pre-fire through the hole just to make sure nobody does so. Eddie's looking through, maybe the true pre-fire went back on him, but Spiker's already moved, so nothing happened.
Spiker will get to work on opening up those same holes that you could expect in the ones you went for before. Both Eddie and Kick sitting inside an oil pit. There's one player, Dommy, on top of those blue stairs, and I believe there might have been another motioning themselves over towards garage earlier. They might just sort of be rotating right now. It's Venatorial with the diffuser, so I don't imagine the Thermite's going to be the one to do that. Eddie sends out an impact grenade that was just to destroy a Claymore placed on top of the ladder, I'm assuming. Dommy's been running the Claymore so far, and considering he's placed it, I'm assuming that's what it was. So now he can rotate up. The impact grenade might have given his position away, as there is one player currently sitting on the blue stairs, but no, ARIAL might be none the wiser to this flank from the Malusi. He'll continue waiting. Splash will relay the fact that there is a drone sitting on top of those stairs, and look at this. If anything can stop the blue play, it will be this. It cost Kicks his life, but Eddie can still trade things out. One coming up from behind, that's Frozen on the Maverick, but at the moment, Eddie's all by himself, and now he's alone in the grave.
Not expecting Frozen to be crouching down, but Spiker and Hypers have just destroyed 2 people inside of Arsenal. They're inside of Arsenal. It's Silent now to take back the site with that AA-12 in his hand. Can he do so, though, as he's trying to peek through? Shots coming from Arsenal. He's going through the rotate, sees one, but actually team kill by Hypers. He takes down Hypers, who had team killed his teammate, and now it's on to just Silent versus Spiker. And really, can you even see him there? He has to drop down and take the fight. He has to go for this fight between them, and he sees the head, peeks out, trying to just delay Silent as much as possible. And any grenades, no grenades in Spiker's hand, so he's got to take this fight. He's got to run and make noise. He comes through, and he does win the fight against Silent. Aerial Academy will take one more, put them in the lead 4-1.
That was way too close, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. That was... Whew. Oh, my lord. Okay. Wow. So that was almost very winnable from Splash. Of course, getting that first kill combined with the team kills what really opened that up. And the plant spot, a little unfortunate. It is very difficult to cover from the hatch because, well, I believe the tall box too, as you can see, it covers it. So you cannot see behind it. However, it still was a 1v4 that Splash needed to win. A lot of problems for 2FACED on that defense in particular. The blue control, while not solid, Eddie did take down Dami as the second kill of the round. It was still fairly easy for Ariel to bounce back after that. You saw Frozen peek in. If Eddie's able to win his fight there, maybe it goes differently, but the problems were also happening on the opposite side of the site. Instead of going for a church plant, Ariel or Rise Academy were going for more so something inside of Armory, focusing on the kitchen hatch, and that seemed like it caught 2FACED off guard. They either peeked the hatch or get caught out rotating. Spike was able to get a kill, Venatorial, I believe, as well, so... Might have been Hypers, I'm not too sure, but they were all on that side of the map. So even though Eddie could have maybe swung things in 2FACED's favor, everyone on the rest of the defense inside of Armory was either caught out peeking or rotating, and it would have been Eddie and Splash left. But this time it was just Splash. It really was going to be a 2v4 or 1v4 either way, it seemed like.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if they're, I don't know what sure they're rotating what happened, but yeah, a lot of players were just caught off guard by them going for the kitchen hatch instead. You saw from Eddie was using his impacts elsewhere. He wasn't trying to impact check the hatch that time, so I guess it kind of cost him that time, that different out, because sure, they dealt with the blue play, but then that kitchen hatch was quite the menace, it seems like. Well, we're back on Gym and Bedroom this time, where the big thing was the fact that 2FACED had put so much stock into this extension, whether it be into rafters or be into red stairs, and despite that amount of utility they had, they weren't able to hold it for very long, actually. Allowed for someone like Hypers, unfortunately, just to walk in and just disrupt the entire play. Of course, you saw Dami get killed out first last time by the person in the rafters, which is Splash. It was traded out, of course, but this time we're going to see if 2FACED are they going to be able to hold this for longer, and if they have to push back to site, can they stay on site alive like they were last time? But this time they're just rushing on the site.
Yep, they're just sending it on in because Poison is the only one there. Everyone else from 2FACED is off the site. So, not really much you got to go for if you can take down Poison. Silent rotating back, falls as well. Kix gets the first kill in the round for the defense, but the bomb's already on the floor. I believe the second successful plant of the series might be turning against them. 3v3 now, as Kix has really been the only one with any signs of life so far. Hyper is likely able to catch Splash off guard with this angle. It's the Jaeger pushing up main stairs. He has to pre-fire this. One of the only ones left. Now the only one left. Does he know the Capital's position? There's the Maverick to deal with. He manages to take him down, but no. Hypers will surprise the Jaeger at the worst of times and get Ariel a 5-1-1 to start out on the attack.
Yeah, we talked about maybe you know, Aerial Rise or Aerial Academy here isn't the most strategically sound, but we could tell from the way they're playing, they can make some great calls, it seems like. Especially when it came to that same play, they read into the fact that 2FACED was making the same exact defense as the previous Gym Bedroom defense, and they're like, hey guys, we're just going to drone out site to use on site as I still setting up cash in that extension, you know, a few seconds into the round, and they're like, hey, we can obviously see that they're still setting up over there. There's still, most of the members are on the other side of the map, still trying to play the extension. So let's just push site. And you saw exactly what happened. They pushed site, they get the bomb down, they play for the post plant. It was a bit messy at the end there, but they made do, and they made it work quite well. And giving them a 5-1-1 too, it doesn't matter what map you want. I feel like 5-1-1 is not looking great for the side of the team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's... No team plans on starting out 5-1. This is not something that 2FACED is like, yeah, this is all part of the plan, especially after they took the tactical timeout, and, well, unfortunately, it didn't seem to do a whole lot. Really got to turn it around, and there's not much option to. But, Benny, even if they lose maps number 1 and 2, they have another option to turn it around. Maybe in the mid-season tournament or the Stage 2 qualifiers if they end up getting knocked out in this best of 3. Of course, starting out 5-1 on your map pick is rough, but if your confidence is so shattered, you can always bring it back either January 3rd to the 5th or in the second round of qualifiers for Stage number 2 later on in January, just 2 days starting after that mid-season tournament. So 2FACED, if you lose, Do not be scared. There's still a light at the end of the
really
tunnel.
confused me for a second
a light,
there.
a light in a different tunnel, I suppose.
You said if they lose maps 1 and 2, they can still bring it back. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, what?
So we call the business a segue, Benny.
Yeah, I thought you meant like this wasn't a best of 3. I'm like, wait, what is going on here?
It's a best of 5. Redo the bands.
I
Surprise.
was so confused. And then I saw the feed that there was like talking about the tournament. I'm like, oh, now I'm not confused.
No best of 5 in playoffs. Only quarterfinal 3.
Oh, well, here we are once again, and we'll see the defense now from Aero Academy. That's one thing you pointed out during our pre-show was, so far in our games with Aero Academy, their defenses have been the most to be worried about. So really, maybe a 5-1/2 isn't that crazy. Maybe we can see 2FACED bring it back a 5-1/2 and bring it to overtime, or maybe a 6-0/2 on their attack. Because like you were saying, their defenses in the past haven't been great.
Oh, yeah, they have been great, but not 6-0 great, of course. Opening kill on Adami, though, right as I say that, bad time for that point to be brought up. So they're able to catch the Jaeger, I believe, just by himself on red stairs. So kind of giving himself up at that point. Spiker also, never mind, he is getting aggressive. Some shots fired through the wall. He says, you know what? That means I should push, and he does so successfully. Takes down the ace. Of course, there are 2 other hard breachers for 2FACED, so their entire hard breaching supply is not eliminated, but Kix is taking a page out of Spiker's book. He's just pushing straight onto the site. Takes all of his ARX to take down the Warden, but he can rotate off successfully. Combined with Splash's kill onto Moto, it just seems like the moment Spiker pushed up main, 2FACED were like, oh yeah, we'll one-up you. We'll send everybody down onto the site if you're going to send one player up to attack us. Now, the 2 SCS operators, Venatorial and Frozen, the only ones left. Still some utility for both. A C4 in Venice pockets, 2 toxic canisters for Frozen. But their utility is very desperate right now because of how close to the site 2FACED have gotten in the past 30 seconds. Taking a break right now to continue droning, trying to find maybe some positions or some more intel. I was about to say, they don't know, or they might know Venatorial's there, but they certainly aren't aware of Splash's position. Frozen moving out to the bottom of main stairs. Are they covering Poison? No, nobody's watching. No, there is somebody from blue, but he's not able to watch the cross. Frozen pops the head, walks back out. And now it seems like he might have the advantage. He can play close with a shotgun or long with the SMG-11. Nades flying over that church wall. He'll try to take it from the other side. Guerrilla warfare tactics by Frozen right now. And the Maverick isn't watching the right way. He's caught off guard. It's a 1v4 so far in the making. If Eddie's caught off, rotating off the bomb, he spots the head, but he misses the shots. Is this the moment where match point happens? It's all left up to the sledge. How this round is crumbled for Arial. There's no way it can happen. He damages him to 1 HP. Oh my lord. Eddie, please tell me you're not going to choke this. It's so tantalizingly close. Just finish him off, please, for the love of God.
Thank God.
You had no right to make it that close. Like, come on, man. God. Just finish out the damn round. I threw my notebook. Just kill him, please. He's 1 health. Just kill him.
All right, well, before all that happened, pretty much is just, again, we talked about the problems with Aero Academy and the defenses, and that really just exemplifies their issues, is that sometimes they're just caught in just horrible positions. We saw the entire round, Aero Academy is getting caught off left and right, whether it be Domby on red stairs by himself, just on red stairs.
Just chilling.
No, just chilling. Apparently someone's below Moto Hatch gets picked off. Kix just pushes Spiker behind Jen. Despite being behind the Jen, he still loses the fight. Even just walking through the utility. Things like that happen on the side of Aero Academy are the reasons why we have we worry about their defenses. But still, hey, Frozen almost made it happen.
Bro, that's one of those things I was like, all right, it's gonna happen. Nope. All right, nope. Now he's got the kill. Nope. It was just... It's like, please. I can't talk for this long.
If he made match point that way, I would have been...
10 seconds to insert.
That'd have been something, wouldn't it? That would have been something. That'd have been a hell of a play.
And then I would have been like, wow, what
but
is
Benny, it didn't happen. Frozen, actually, by the way, we highlighted Spiker and Venatorial in the pre-show. Vena not having the best day. Frozen, 12-4 right now. So I said I would like to see a little more of a performance from him, and he heard.
It's still top heavy, though.
You make a compelling argument, sir.
Yeah, so it's still, we're still...
Actually, is it? Because Frozen has 12 kills, but everyone else is relatively even except for Vena.
I guess so. It's not too top heavy. I guess it's kind of just like, I don't know. You say that, but it's still twice as many kills though.
Why are you hating right now? You are literally hating on the broadcast. Why are you hating?
Attackers have located a bomb.
Oh, well, we're on to CCTV and cash here for 2FACED to try and deal with this. And of course, they're going to deal with the electrical off first. Get rid of that. Open up the walls of Plat starting off. And is this a... It looked like he was going to run in. I was very scared there. Spiker got the first pick, though, on a splash on Plat. So there goes one of your people. And actually, I was right. He's just going to run in. He's just going to murder Frozen.
Right,
But
well,
Spiker's there at least stopped that from happening. Thank God.
Yeah, so that's... All right, now Kix has just decided I will clear out Garage. And, well, he's got 2 of the kills. 3 as well.
Ooh.
All right, Dami just gives up his life at that point. I was about to clown 2FACED for that rush, but I might be clowning Ariel for somehow giving this round away, as Kix solo clearing Garage has now brought things back in their entirety. 2 rounds in a row now. The smoke and the mute for Arial Academy's defenses are the only ones left. We have a minute 35 still left for 2FACED to gather intel and change their positioning.
I will say both defenders are really isolated, though. Both really... Oh, actually, well, he's back on green now, so it's not too bad. He's back in cash, but he's on top of the box. He shouldn't get grenaded by Kix here. Kicks his grenade off old intel. Doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Then he goes back to playing in the green box, and he's just going to wait. And so far, with the minute now, it's just... Yeah, 2FACED can just kind of wait for something from ARIAL Academy to give in. There's still 2 crystal cans. There's still a C4 in the hands of Vena and Hyper, so there's still a big chance for them to deny this play from 2FACED, though, and it's going to come down to somebody getting a kill to push one of either the attackers or defenders to make a play after that. Otherwise, if they go for this plant, it's just going to be kind of game over at that point for 2FACED.
Poison and Kix have now swapped positions. Obviously because, well, Poison has the bomb. You don't want him watching Plat. This can work, I will say. The cross Kix is holding is very good. If anybody pushes physically, he should be able to get the kill. But as Benny so adequately and aptly pointed out, there's plenty of intel an Arial can use that can work around pushing straight up. All the smoke canisters have been used, though, so that means the only thing left is Venatorial C4. There's nobody watching down below, so you could rotate down if you wanted to, but he won't. And now if this C4 lands, it will effectively stop the plant. It's now all left up to Kix to ace this round and stop Arial from getting match point, and he's got to do it in 3 seconds against a shotgun at close quarters. It's not going to happen. 6-2 for ARIAL Academy.
That was a crazy round, though, all things considered.
Yeah. You know, if you had asked me how I thought that round was going to go, I would not have said, well, or described the way it happened.
Yeah, I would not have described, especially when Spiker got the first pick from Rafters onto Splash, and I thought that they were going to rush in, but once you get that, once the defenders get that first pick, you think that the attacking team would slow down for a second there, but no, he just runs it anyway.
You know what's better than 1 guy Rafters? 2 guys Rafters. To clear that, I don't believe 2FACED were aware of that.
No, it's funny because the first person that gets a pick is Spiker from Rafters, and he had the MP5, but then Silent runs in, he kills the Kaid. You think that he would have thought there should be a second person with an MP5 on this Rafters?
It's not him. Or that, not even that. Just like, if you're gonna sprint into the breach like that, especially after Spiker just killed one of your teammates, maybe like just. Again, as Benny said, maybe take a moment, or before you even do any of that, just make sure to be like, hey, have we droned out Rafters? Are there 2 people in there instead of just 1? It happens. Hey,
yeah,
we all make mistakes. Fortunately there, it was on, well, not match point, but it was on the round that gave Arial match point. Now all they have to do is they just have to win 1 more clubhouse defense, which again, for a side that we said has been the best for them so far, they've been able to win 1. Surely just 1 more. 1 more is manageable.
I say surely.
I do say that.
Like
and
this wasn't the team we
do,
cast on Cafe.
Listen, it's playoffs now. It's a different team.
Yeah, I guess they just surely 1 more. They can do it. Especially they go over for this realm, and we talked about this ARIAL Academy team. They're gunners. They can make this happen. They just gotta just make sure that 2FACED waste time. Maybe get a pick, maybe 1 on this roam. And see if they then just pull back the site and then they just end the map right there. But we'll see, I guess. Kix is kind of crazy the last round too as well, so maybe Kix just keep that energy up and you might just keep him going.
Well, Kix is clearing Garage, so that's scary. but there's nobody there. You know what? There is somebody wherever Hypers was.
Where
Probably
was-
over. I would guess based on the Vigil's normal placement. Normally, I would say, oh, he's probably inside of the bar, but well, Poison isn't there, so.
Oh, did he shoot him from? Was he?
Oh
peeking
wow.
dirt? No, I don't see his dead body. No, where was he? What?
Where in the world
Was he peeking from
Hypers?
strip? Check strip.
Maybe he was peeking from. No.
No, where was?
Somebody,
where was
please tell me where Hypers was, dude.
What? Did he get shot from the drug?
The jacuzzi.
No.
The jacuzzi wall's not open. Dirt and strip are both closed. Poison killed him. Where was he?
I don't know anymore.
Where was this man?
Well, either way, so far at least they wasted time and some utility, but they're down a man. So now it's gonna really be on 2FACED to make a mistake and execute when it comes to getting downstairs, and maybe ARIAL Academy make an unexpected play or unexpected aggression where 2FACED, when they're getting the execute down. But so far, throwing things out, making sure they can clear things out, make sure there's no more roamers. Spiker like he's still inside a strip. If they don't drone Spiker, but they're gonna drone him, they can always there. So
Well, this is
if he doesn't make it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, now I was about to say I don't know if this is gonna work or not, and well, it's not going to. So kind of the same bait of Dami sitting on red stairs, but worse in that case. If the attack does spot you, you're kind of a dead man walking. Dami will compensate for that loss. He peeks up main stairs, takes down Silent. As what I will say is, even though Spiker did sort of just give his life away in a silly, meaningless way, they took down the ace, and 2FACED have not really done much on the attack to actually help their execute onto the site. Things are now being opened up, some hatches, some progression made on main stairs, but beyond that, you've only got 30 seconds left, and Dami's able to play aggressive and even stall just 5 seconds more of time. You don't have a lot of time left. That's a much greater proportion in per capita second than otherwise. But Poison's able to find Dami, pushing up those stairs. Now, Frozen could be the last line of defense on these main stairs. He's able to take down one. It's one drops Moto by himself. He's able to rotate, flick, and get the kill. Well, could have been huge, but he's not going to. Poison shut down, moving into the site. Venatorial has the diffuser. Now all of 2FACED have to transition, and they don't pick it up. What? What?
Well, no, because I think Kix had a goo mine, so Kix couldn't move. So that's why he didn't go pick up the diffuser, because he had no cover.
Not the... Okay, well, ARIAL Academy just 7-2 2FACED on their opponent's map pick, thanks to a goo mine. Woo! Good work.
So in that situation, unfortunately, Splash didn't want to go for the 1-for-1. And
Understandable.
He kicks out a goo mine in his foot. So Kix couldn't join him for the 2v1 there. And so that just ends the round.
Benny, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna full honesty here. I'm just gonna level with you, okay?
Yeah.
Not very comfortable in my 2FACED prediction after that one.
I don't think anyone's hard at this
I'm
one.
just gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. I thought 2FACED, they've 7-3'd ARIAL Arise, the main team, on Clubhouse. Surely they can. No, they can't.
This is just like CL season. We all predict one team and they just go.
Feel great. But so yes, obviously ARIAL Arise Academy 7-2 2FACED on their opponent's map pick, going into their pick a cafe, which to be fair, Benny, is a little hit or miss for them in history. It is not unwinnable for 2FACED at this moment. You know what they might need, though?
Oh.
You know what they might need? To lighten their spirits. To power them up, if you will. They could use some Mike and Ike's, of course. Thank you to Mike and Ike's, as always, the best and brightest of the candy game right now. Mike and Ike's have always sponsored and always been kind to us at SCS and NerdStreet overall. So if you're trying to maybe bring it back on map number 2, your opponent's map pick, if 2FACED, if you're starting to pull up the stage 2 registration page, if you're starting to look at the mid-season tournament registration page and you're not confident in your chances, get some Mike and Ike's and you will persevere. If you don't, I'm sorry. That's just not much we can do after that. But we'll have Cafe right up as the second map right after this short break. And hopefully 2FACED will get some Mike and Ike's in the next couple minutes.
There once was a tournament during the season of snow, filled with contenders of might, with names Deez, Ligma, and Joe. The road was a trying one, wrists aching with cramps. In the end, victors rose. We called them Winter Champs. Before they departed, they left us these words. Our journey's just begun. All thanks to the nerds.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's gonna come down.
Faber making a third as he looks up. Faker up, finds the draw three. Stunning here from.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second map of the first series of the night, 2FACED versus ARIAL Academy. I am Lynx, joined by Benny. If you just happen to tune in the minute 30, we were actually off air. In case there's any new people, just want to make sure. It was, Benny, I said it before break. I was like, 2FACED 7-3'd the main team on club. Surely they can get this, right? Right?
Don't you love being wrong?
I was wrong. I was very wrong. I have not been wronger in quite a long time. They lost to ARIAL Academy worse than they beat the main team.
Hey, ARIAL Academy had some pretty pristine attacks, though. I will tell you.
That is true.
It's some pretty good attacks. The defenses were, as we said before, were dodgy, but they only had to win 2 defenses, which they did. And that was more than 2FACED did on their defenses. So while I say they were dodgy, they were better than 2FACED. So I don't know what to say.
It's almost more than 2FACED did overall, funny enough. Now, to be fair, that last round, I would say, was going well for them until a goo mine found itself lodged in Kix's foot, and the diffuser was dropped inside a Moto, which is not where the final 2 attackers were. But hey, it happens. This is why we have map number 2s, for you to get all your cogs turning, get yourself back in the game, try to remedy those mistakes. Take a look at the stats. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you that 2FACED did not perform very well in that match. You also don't need me to tell you that Frozen had a much better performance. I think the best performance we have seen from him in this season so far.
Yeah, I think most maps he usually only goes, usually has maybe a 1.0 depending on what's happening. But yeah, we haven't seen this kind of performance from him just yet. Will he be able to keep it up in the next map in Cafe? That's the question now. Because again, like you talked about during the pre-show, wasn't so much of a top heavy this time around. It was just Frozen, kind of picking it up for Venom, who wasn't unfortunately doing well on Clubhouse. But the rest of the members on ARIAL Academy were doing their roles. We're doing what they need to do. They're all doing their to the T. They need to keep doing that, and hopefully maybe Vena can keep it up or bring it back for this next map, because like Lynx was talking before, Cafe hasn't been the greatest for them.
It's, I believe the few times they have played it, of course, Benny and I always refer to an infamous ARIAL Academy game that we casted in the qualifiers versus In Control, in which, was it that there was not a single, was it attacking or defensive round one? I can't remember. Not a single attacking round one. So obviously that was bad. But the issue with ARIAL Academy is on Cafe, the most dominant score line, not even victory, the most dominant score line is a 7-5 against Nocturnes. That they did win, but the only other time it was still a very close 7-8 loss against Wichita Wolves. Now, to be fair, they still have a victory on the map. Yeah. The map has been very close for them historically, but it has been close against teams that have been booted out of the league and CL playoff teams that, of course, well, coincidentally enough, are actually also out of the league. So that is kind of funny. That is actually funny how that worked out, but you get what I'm saying.
So it's definitely odd. Like, sure, there's CL playoff teams that have been kicked out, but they're all out of the league, like you said before, too. So I don't know. Again, it's going to be interesting to see. They go on defense first, though. So they have what you would consider to be the leg up when it comes to preferred sides, but this could also be maybe an attacker side cafe. I have no clue. We'll see.
I mean, I hope not. Actually, no, that's not true. Actually, I do hope that. I feel like they'd be more entertaining than a defender-sided cafe. So
It would be, yes.
I would actually be fine if that happened. Maybe we still have some defensive round wins. You know, ARIAL Academy don't treat us to the reverse of what we've seen from them before, and just all attacking round wins. Not like that. I'd still like some variety, but I would still be fine if we saw a little bit more attacking wins. I'm sure they would too. On their map pick in particular, attack in general has always been their seemingly better side. It's the one they have a positive win rate on. So going on to Cafe, might see them get a couple more rounds than the average. Do believe they are starting out the defense though, so we'll have to wait a little bit for it, but could still happen.
Well, again, we talk about their dodgy defenses and how they've been. Let's see if they can, if they remedied some of those when it comes to Cafe and it comes to the previous games. Well, the bans first, of course. We'll see them ban, of course, probably. Well, we saw that they haven't banned Thatcher, you said in the past, so maybe they'll ban something different here, a Heartbreacher.
Yeah, they have banned Thatcher a bit less now. To be fair, it's probably because at least partially the other teams also like to ban Thatcher, so wouldn't be surprised if they still want to ban it here. But
hey,
as I was about to say, one ban they have done in the past and have certainly liked to do is on Cafe, you know, maybe flirt with that Flores ban a little bit. They've also just flirted with the Flores ban in the past as well, so it's something they will do here once again. But to follow up, what do you know, Benny? It's a Thatcher ban. So there are all the hard breachers on the board, but I would say honestly Flores might be a little bit impactful in some areas.
Well, hopefully they can use those hard breaches to good use this Cafe. We're probably going to see Valkyrie ban and Mirror, because really this is probably one of the other maps like Valkyrie and Mirror are just ridiculous. You don't want a Valkyrie, you don't want a Mirror on this map.
Yeah, no, Mirror, this is definitely one of the better maps that Mirror is on, so we can probably expect it to come out from ARIAL Academy, so we can probably just write that down if we want to.
Or not. Though, well, this actually makes sense, because remember, we saw 2FACED play this map, and they brought Clash on the top floor.
That is true. However, I did not expect that ARIAL would dedicate a whole ban to it.
Yeah.
However, what I will say is that Clash is very annoying.
True.
Clash requires quite a bit of coordination to take out, and if you don't do it quickly, can be a major time sink for the rest of the round. And if you're taking out one of 2FACED comfort ops at that, hey, go for it. Makes sense.
Because we've seen Poison play it before on that top floor, but I think it's only on that top floor, so I don't know how much this is really going to influence the round per se when it comes to 2FACED defenses, at least. But we'll see what happens here, as now Mirror is available. We'll see if either team brings Mirror and how much influences their defense and how much it makes it more difficult for the attackers here. But so far, ARIAL Academy on a defense first. We're on that top floor to start off. And well, one of the French brothers is available here. Not
the Rook R6.
When was the last time you cast the Rook?
Not in a while, Benny. Not in a while. I mean, here's what I will say. In positions like Pixel, where nades will likely fly at either Dami or Spiker playing that position, probably Spiker. Nades flying out. If he does get one land at his feet either in Pixel or in Bathroom, he will be downed instead of being killed. So that is an upside to it. Can't say that. And also Frozen has been shooting in this matchup, so maybe he just wanted the MP5.
Could be it too. Frozen has been doing pretty well so far, so having that 2x in his hands on the MP5 could be something else in his hands. I'm interested to see where he plays, whether it be on, Cocktail, or if he's gonna play maybe Shaiko or something like that, as we'll see where he plays. But now we see what 2FACED has in store for us. What are they gonna push for? It looks like to be that same kind of going for Pixel, going for piano play. They brought one Heartbreacher in Habana only, so they only have so much Heartbreaching to do with here. But even making holes in the freezer is better than we've seen in some other teams.
See Hyper's getting aggressive inside his cigar. Not an uncommon position for ARIAL to play, but also for Hypers to play in particular. He has always loved getting aggressive on both the attack and the defense, and here, if he's not been droned, playing close with a shotgun against somebody on the window could be a very problematic position to deal with. Right as somebody sends in a drone, he can't fight the angle. Oh, so close. If Splash is just a little bit higher, Hypers would be able to get a kill there, but now is where the hard part happens. You got to somehow rotate back with all those windows open and attackers looking to repel in those very positions. He does rotate. He does rotate down. Gets to escape. Good job for Hypers. And a minute and a half has been wasted without much progress by 2FACED.
Dominating position maybe to flank up red when they do push it later on. And like you said, yeah, a minute and a half and not much has been done. They still haven't cleared Pixel, it seems like. Splash Guard, the windows made a cut off of rotate from Aerial Academy. Spiker playing his position for now, and he's going to be the first member up. And Dami, yep, playing the red stairs. Looking to try and deal with them. If he can jump out this window. Is there an air jab on the window, as there is a nomad on the board? Yes, there is. But Dami still wins the fight against Eddie, jumping down. Looking to try and get another below, but he's getting cut off and poisoned. He jumps down the red hatch. 1 for 1, nothing too crazy, but a minute left. Poison another pick on Hypers, though. That's huge, getting kills. They haven't cleared up Pixel, but these picks are going to propel them farther and farther.
Now, that's the nice thing. If they're able to get these kills, it might not matter. But Spiker, as you said, has not been cleared out of Pixel, so he can also peek out and try and get some kills to stop the attack's progress. And that's exactly what he'll do. 3v3 at the moment, and we're back to where we were. 2FACED haven't made much progress beyond those kills, and pushing into the site is, while easier, still going to be difficult, given the even man count at 3 versus 3. Venatorial has 2 smoke canisters remaining. Spiker pushing aggressively into Freezer. The moment the attack pushes in, whether through those toxic canisters or after they detonate, he can still use this angle playing aggressively. He has been spotted, though, so I was going to say the attack might not be aware of it, but now they do know his position. Frozen moving and rotating onto that cocktail balcony finds Poison, and now the attack is collapsing. A 3-man push up white has all boiled down to Kicks stuck on the white stairs with no defensive body presenting itself for a frag. He'll pick up one, but he won't pick up the round after.
Well, good round from AA, and really nothing too crazy. Just a kind of disciplined round from the side of Aerial Academy, playing those spots well. Some aggression here and there. Dami getting aggressive red stairs, does get a pick. He does get traded, but still, it was still, Aerial Academy having the advantage when it came to those kills and just propelling themselves to keep those positions cleared, wasting so much time. And like we said before, 2FACED, by the time they even got those kills and made their way into Cigar and were trying to push Pixel, there was like a minute left. There wasn't much time, and by the time they even got into Pixel, there was like 20 seconds left. And we saw from there, sure, Poison gets some great picks. He does give them, an even man count, but with no real control, you really can't take control around unless you just go off and just take kills and just take control and run in. And we've only seen so many teams that can do that when it comes to that top floor defense.
After winning Cocktail, Arrow will go to the kitchen site as their second one. Running a setup that we've seen them run plenty of times before. Frozen sitting on the site as Echo. Frozen is usually a site player. It's kind of his thing. Usually likes the Echo as well on Kitchen, on Cocktail. Spiker taking up the smoke. Venatorial on the Cade. So definitely, if there is going to be any kind of presence off the site, it's likely going to be on that first floor, not moving too far up upstairs. I say that, of course. Dami or Hypers probably still will anyway, just because that's something they like to do. But it's not going to be, hey, let's go all the way to the top floor, then move down. If they are going to be upstairs, they might move up to the second floor if they feel like they can make a play. But it's still going to be heavy emphasis all on areas around the site.
Yep. Going for that going for that play outside the site. Nothing too crazy. We'll see Hypers upstairs for the moment. Drone will spot him below the desk. It looks like he's just opening up one of the windows inside a fireplace. Drone will watch him run by. But even if they are playing mainly for this, it still kind of forces 2FACED to somewhat clear it, though. Because, again, look at those vertical holes made by Hypers. You cannot ignore that when it comes to that push. Those angles are going to be used against you. Later on, they could be really a detriment to the execute. So Hypers probably going to be somewhat pushed off, or at least pushed back to that first floor, as Silent's going to drone out and see 2 players, 1 VIP, maybe 1 Boots, just holding on for as long as possible.
Hyper's making use of those goo mines upstairs to, if anybody does try to push him out of that second floor, he will hear their position before they see him. And also open up the top of that freeze wall if he wants to help out Spiker as well. Spiker's likely going to need it. 2FACED appear very inclined to try and take down the smoke out of that position early on, and if they go for a freezer play later, maybe go up to that second floor, then drop down the hatch, they won't have to worry about the smoke behind a shield that can so often be the thorn and the death knell for attacks on that side of the map. Dami on the opposite side, he did move up those red stairs, but a lot of shots missed, force him to rotate off. Does more damage to Kicks, though, than Kicks deals in turn, so I'd say he does come away the victor, but still almost lost his life in a situation where might not have needed to.
No, well, there is. Hypers jumps out, takes out Poison from that fireplace window, but Eddie's there to refrag and look to be a bakery push here. And that person upstairs, which was Hypers, is now gone. So this bakery push into kitchen shouldn't be that really. You shouldn't have to worry about that vertical play. The coat check control is in the hands of 2FACED too, so that should allow him to push out, well, this defender in Frozen who's just walking around kitchen. But it looks like Domi's taking that control now, shots onto Eddie from above, so that vertical control is still a problem for them. Silent takes that one, Vena, who is playing Whiskey, and now it's up to the members of Aero Academy to start taking fights back. Spiker already starting us off on a splash.
Now see Kicks stomp his way up to the top floor saying, hey, Dami's holding these vertical holes. I should probably go up and take him down. Dami might hear the Nomad upstairs and he's moved inside of the train. Kicks spots his head, but he's not aiming at the right spot. So no fight presenting itself just yet. It's an effective 2v2 on the site as the duel on the top floor has yet to meet any sort of, well, occurrence whatsoever. Eddie will instead kill Dami from down below, so Kicks can join his teammates on the push end of the site, but with only 20 seconds left, the time to rotate and the time to act, that window is quickly closing. Eddie with the bomb and the case starts putting it on the floor as none of Spiker's toxic canisters can land. As one finally does, Eddie gets the bomb down in time, but it's a 2v2 with both members of 2FACED on reduced HP. Frozen, the only one in the lobby, still unobstructed, undamaged, so he'll be the one to make the most of 2FACED this round, but now he too joins the damaged overall. He's not long for this world, but it's the utility for Spiker to get him a triple with that third kill. He'll try to stick the defuse as Kicks is sort of stuck around that smoke, but now Spiker has to play this carefully. Kicks can play passive. Maybe send in a flash to blind the smoke. As Spiker falls off, 1 HP is enough for Kicks to seal his fate. 2FACED repeating the trend from Clubhouse. They lose the first round, but they win the second.
Yeah, kind of scared because there was a bit of I would say 2FACED, though, they were quick on when it came to control. We had an issue with the time on the first round when it came to really taking control of Piano, but this round, they got into Bakery quickly. They're opening up that wall, and they were still pressuring. Hyper's getting that, interesting, Hyper's jumps out, he gets a pick on the one player, but he gets picked off instead, or at least refragged in the sense I'm going to say. So that kind of gives less worry to 2FACED when it comes to that push through Bakery, because again, one of the players upstairs is gone. Dami takes his place, but Dami's all one person on that roam. You see him get pressured later on, get taken out by Eddie, who was playing that small bake, or prep, walking in from below, wins that fight. And then what's supposed to be with the control that 2FACED had, they had co-check control. They dealt with the play in Whiskey. They had that full control they needed when it came to pushing on the site. In there, they get the plant down. Smokes were thrown in the wrong place, unfortunately, when it came to denying it in the end of that round. Allows them to get placed down. We're in a post plant at that point. Now the players from Aero Academy have to push into kitchen and try and take those fights. And well, you saw there it was quite difficult despite that, because they didn't have quite the intel they needed to take those fights. And most of the players were already low except for Frozen.
And Frozen was put to low pretty soon after that, so that advantage you had was lost pretty soon after. Ariel, after winning, well, no, losing their defense, they won Cocktail. Sorry. I keep getting, I don't know why, for whatever reason, I keep getting the teams messed up in my head for some reason. I don't particularly know why, but... Ariel, after losing Kitchen, they're like, we could try it again, but we won't. So we'll go back, we'll go to Reading instead. They do have some, they do have one C4 for down below, but with not much verticality, no pulse, no C4s for secondary utility. It's gonna, the onus is on most of these defenders on the top floor, 3 of them in all likelihood, to try to make a play, but 2FACED, Benny, unless Splash is going rogue, it appears they're looking to bypass it entirely.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're not really paying much attention. Kicks and Eddie are up there, and they have the sledge in store, so it would make sense to go for that top floor play. But like you said, at this point, it would probably make sense for Aero Academy to play that second floor, or that third floor, to the death, to make sure that they don't take control of it within time, because they don't have any C4s really to deny that top floor play, so they're going to play it for it gunfight wise and play for their lives. We'll see the Silent will spot one in the hallway, and so far maybe 2FACED just kind of probing around, seeing if they find any mistakes or any rotates that Aero Academy get caught off on. There's one in train that's pushing back in the fireplace. They'll join him out. That person will pull back, but surprisingly, Aero Academy so far, they've been playing pretty disciplined on these positions.
I believe the entire white stairs wall is full reinforced, so what is normally a very strong angle for the defense to use. Oh no, never mind. There is one hole made. I was about to say, I couldn't tell if it was just one panel, so never mind. It is not full reinforced, and in fact, Frozen, I believe, gets a kill from that position. So what a better way to show that my eyesight was mistaken. By using the very hole I denied the existence of to get the first kill of the round on to Silent. Excellent work by the Ella, and now 2FACED are left in the position where, okay, do we want to clear out that top floor, actually? You don't really have a lot of options if you want to go that play. Half the round is already gone. Nobody from the defense is getting aggressive. What are you to do? Because your first instinct didn't work, and now the second attempt isn't looking very viable.
Well, they're getting aggressive now. Looks like members of Aerial Academy are taking fights now. Trying to peek through. Spiker goes down. Dami wins the fight and kicks, though. Spike can probably get picked up by a team member as long as they clear those windows. Splash has made the way into sight because they've kind of walked away, but Vena's there to make sure it doesn't happen for them. Poison's made the way through the hallway. Vena is there to refrag. And so far, it's just Eddie now in a 1v4. Technically 1v3 because Frozen's down. Looks like Frozen may get finished off by the grenade. No, he won't actually, but still. Really, 2FACE's entire round just kind of spent it looking for a weakness, not really going for a play.
And no weakness has so far presented itself or one substantial enough to swing the round in 2FACE's favor. Eddie now forced to do the same, stuck in the 1v3, try and find some weakness that presents itself, but Spiker Batista bombs him from the top floor. Arrow move up 2-1. Do not let 2FACED get too much momentum, but I think you said it perfectly. 2FACED that entire round were just trying to see if there was some kind of weakness they could exploit, and when none presented itself, they were like, all right, let's clear out the top floor. But half the round had passed at that point. They didn't really have much options.
Yeah, even when they started doing that, the members in Aero Academy were like, oh, it's a really half-baked roam clear, so we're just gonna start taking fights in Cigar now.
In that it's one dude on the top of red stairs.
Yeah. So
well, I guess he wasn't even really clearing out the roam, but
no.
I mean, it seemed also like if he was just watching the flank, maybe seemed like a bit of a foolish angle to hold. I don't really know what 2FACED, like the entirety of what 2FACED plan was, because it didn't really seem like there was much of one.
It definitely seemed like you saw later on too. Like we saw Silent die first, and then we saw members of Red Stairs. Splash just tries to walk into fireplace by himself. Poison tries to walk through the hallway at the same time in a sense. So
yeah, it's clear they wanted to go for a dining plant, but beyond their intention and their movement into train, there wasn't much after that. On Cocktail, unfortunately, their attacks seemed to suffer a similar fate. They started to clear out Pixel, but it came very late in that, well, Spiker had already rotated out, so there wasn't much to clear, and half the round had already passed. And by the time they tried to push into the site, they had gotten a couple kills, but Ariel were still holding many of their positions uncontested on the Cocktail side of things, on the balcony, behind the bars, inside a freezer. There wasn't much 2FACED could do. A little bit more urgency is what we need from 2FACED right now, especially when they're one map away from being eliminated.
well, Aero Academy want to present their heads to them. That could also work out as Hypers tries to peek out of that double window out towards the dock. Doesn't find anybody. Dummy once again. Last time too was Dummy was a big here. He played the bottom red stairs. Got a pick. Of course he was. Actually, I don't think he was refragged even. Actually, no, he was refragged. He was sitting underneath the window, gets refragged after getting that pick, but it still puts a hamper on their play, and you can tell why that reason why it took so long for them was because of that aggressive play from Aero Academy, just kind of slowing them down. They're not able to really deal with it, so we'll see if this time are they more aware and able to stop some of this aggression, because both Hypers and Frozen play on stairs. Hypers with a C4 as well could easily stop that push into Cigar, so we'll see that if they're able to do so. In turn, well, so far they're just making sure they're just waiting for something to happen, it seems like.
Still a minute in. They can make something happen. I'm hoping, at least. This, by the way, this is... If 2FACED have done one VOD review of Ariel on Cafe, they'll recognize that this is Hyper's favorite position down below right now. He is moving out of it, though, so... It's not going to be there for long. We'll not be going for the typical Hyper C4 through the floor, though I believe it is pre-placed right now, so still can be used, but it won't be used in the same way. But now half the round has passed, and now I'm left wondering what exactly is the plan. I believe they have cleared out the pixel shield, and they are opening up that Cigar wall, so a bit more progress than last time, but this is where problems arose, Benny.
Yeah, at this point, so this is a bit faster leave. They've cleared pixel this time in a much faster progression compared to before. I mean, not too much faster, but still faster in a sense. Splash taking heavy damage elsewhere. But now the question is, can they get this wall open? Can they make these pushes and take these fights on the members of Aero Academy? They open the wall, a hole into the side of, Freezer. And say here's maybe another pellets getting shot off by one of the lasers of a, Maestro bubble. But so far, really, not much has happened. Oh my god, one member, Hyper, just walks into bar, still alive, somehow.
Yeah, that was very risky play from the mute. One adjustment I do like is we do see Silent moving over to that cocktail balcony. They really, in 2FACED, started to face a lot of problems when Frozen moved to that position, but now the problems are presenting itself a little bit later than the round prior, but without much recourse from 2FACED. They lost Splash, and now Silent is rotating in, or repelling in, I should say. Frozen just immediately slaps him back out of the window the moment he enters in and kicks his last alive. All alone. What is he to do? What is he to do? Two players jump outside. There's nothing the Nomad can do. You might be able to get a kill, but beyond that, yeah, it's a flawless round for Arial.
Woo, wow. But yeah, that was, it came down to really the fact that, well, I would say it was fast release in this night 2FACED. They're able to get control Piano, Pixel, deal with that pressure early on, or at least faster than before on the previous attack. But again, this comes to the point where just because you have control of Piano, just because you open up in the freezer, you can't just do only that. We saw at least Silent go for that cocktail, for that heaven window, but that was the only real other play from the side of 2FACED. So at that point, it's just on Aero Academy to win fights, and you saw they're playing from those in bunker positions, and they're winning fights again and again, or literally the entire round, because they didn't lose a single member. And so far, and then Silent, who was supposed to be that one member going off on his own, it's pretty obvious when you hear someone just repel through a window. There's no other real, just other distractions. Frozen can just pre-fire the window at that point and just kill you.
Also, can we bring some attention to that Vena, for some reason, called that Kix was cocktail window?
That's why.
There was just nobody over there.
They both
It was a
jumped out.
1v5. Kix literally shot at your teammates. Come on. Do better, Venatorial. Do better. I know it's 3-1, but I don't care. No excuses here.
Oh,
well,
yeah. Oof.
Yeah. This is... Come on. Dami, we're missing Mozzie, Pest now too. What is this? This amateur hour? Come on. Anyway, as you can see, it's kitchen defense for Arial Rise Academy. One site they have lost so far, though it came close towards the end. No Echo this time, Benny. Instead, they're going for a whole roam.
Wow. Well, now the question is 2FACED going to try and run into site? Because they could try to do that. They were pretty quick before and take control of Bakery, and there's no Bakery control here for Aero Academy, though there is still that vertical pressure, people playing in train, so they can try and bypass that run to site. Maybe they can just try and get a plant down, though there are members on red stairs. There's members close by, a couple playing coat check, playing the red stairs. That'll be the first point of contention. If they can quickly bypass this and push through, they can try and push through those defenders, though. Grenade comes out, great grenade from Silent. Down goes Dami, coat check cleared. Second person will take his place and try and hold it down.
See Frozen holding a tight angle on that window. Very risky for him, especially if Silent peeks. But no gunfight happens. Frozen still able to sit inside a VIP. Hypers has retaken Dami's position. And there are some players next to him to provide some support. Spiker is there on red stairs in case anybody pushes him. Venatorial as well rotating down. Spiker gets air jabbed. You can see Kix eagerly position himself to try to get the downed Legion, but he's unfortunately not able to get there in time. But same can be said, or at least you could use the word unfortunate to describe Arial's round so far. Lost the smoke. Not even half the round has passed. Poison. You can hear the case drop on the floor as I thought we were spectating a defender. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Splash is just inside of the site, and the bomb is on the floor.
That's what I'm saying.
Spiker's upstairs. Venatorial. Yep. I don't even know where Venatorial is. What is this defense for Arial?
I told you they could just bypass it and walk on site.
I didn't think it would actually happen, though. I thought they'd fix it.
I called it. Come on.
I thought if they were going to bypass the site, it happened in the first, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds. Half the round passed.
they just like with all that fights going on in coat check and Silent, peeking the windows, they just silently just crouched their way through prep, walked onto site.
Half the round passed and nobody rotated down.
Yeah.
What nobody's pushing you. I get keeping, maybe 1, 2 people max upstairs, to hold those vertical
angles. Well, they had vertical control
if they're
too.
Trying
they
to
just
push
let them walk in.
Like, I get Arial are winning right now. They're up 1-0 in the series. They're up 3-2 on the map. But what were they doing in that round? What was happening? What was
I
going
will say
on?
too. I will say too. Cool thing though, they tried to mute trick that air jab on small bake.
That is cool. I did see them do that.
Try.
Fat lot of good it did for them, Benny.
Yeah, didn't do anything.
Hyper still ran into it.
I know. I said try for a reason. It was still cool to see.
I have seen that work actually in the past, though. I think.
Yeah, I remember we
Or
were
at
talking
least
about the
seen it
PB game,
attempted.
and they told us that. I wasn't sure if it was Which Show Wolves who did it or PB who did it, but one of them did it on Villa, and that was cool. That we didn't know that. They told us during the VOD review when T-Daps' VOD review with cookies. And they told us that's what they did to bypass that air jab and run into study. Cool thing. I never seen it happen very often.
Yeah, I have not either. Always nice to see little gadget interactions. Well, I mean, obviously mutes can jam air jabs, but like specific situations like that where I can't name you another position where that could work and potentially even be replicated consistently, just because air jabs aren't normally placed in that position. Defenders aren't normally in positions to even get there. So Frozen, please. Frozen, please. Come on, Frozen. Come on, Frozen. Come on, Frozen. Come on, Frozen.
I don't think he could fit.
Come on, Frozen. All right, he gave up. We're all good.
All right, well, we're back on reading in Fireplace, like Link was talking about. But this was the issue with last time 2FACED. This round, again, what was the game plan? They didn't have a set game plan. They were just looking around for something to do, looking for some way, some exploit. They couldn't find it. They just kind of meandered for 2 minutes.
Well, they're certainly, well, I was going to say they're not meandering, but it might be too early to call, truly. Splash does have some nice intel onto Frozen on the Ella, and he's in a position to take him down as, well, Frozen decides to peek directly into the spray of a Zofia LMG, and somehow neither party takes damage. Kind of amazing how that worked out, and are you kidding me? Frozen is the only one on the site again.
Well, yeah, no, last time there was Vena who was playing White Stairs. I'm not sure he's there this time, but he was playing White Stairs and he denied Splash from walking in. So maybe if they go for that, oh yeah,
Okay, Vena is there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same thing, White Stairs. Again, this top floor control is the big thing. 2FACED looked like they're actually trying to push it this time, droning it out, make sure it's there. So half the round's gone by. I think they're at least in piano, I believe. So they have some control. Dominic's heavy down to Splash pre-firing the window. He's going to drop down, but with half the round gone already, they can try to drop off. Hyper's going to try and stay for a moment because, again, even if half the round's gone, you can't give them that control just yet because if a sledge gets up there, we've seen it before, and Hypers thinks it's clear, was not clear. He runs right into silent, and now they can go to work. They can open the floor up, and they can make it a cage match for these hankers.
yeah. They still have a minute too, so plenty of time to open up these vertical holes, move down, go for a reading plant. So a minute is more than enough, honestly, for 2FACED, especially with the man advantage, more than enough to make this work. They do need to worry about Dami and Spiker's position on red once they drop into pillar, so they will be put into a little bit of a crossfire. They might have the man advantage, but if they don't, and if they aren't aware of those defenders playing those positions, could lose a body or two, moving on down. But it's still, they have, with 5 bodies on the board, they can have somebody on, say, the cocktail balcony or Splash on new balc to hold that cross to see if anybody rotates over. And with Poison getting the bomb down, Silent swings and is cut down by Frozen. A toxic canister sends itself out, and Spiker is on bottom red. He's below Splash on new balc, so the Zofia can't cover. And now Eddie's the only one left. How the round has crumbled for 2FACED, who seem to have it all going so well. Eddie gets a kill, but it costs him all of his HP. There will end the half 5-1. Or wait, 4-2.
But I would say, where was the coverage
Stuck
there
on
for
club.
the execute? Because, like we said, nothing too much happened on that roam. Just Hyper's getting picked off on the rotate.
Benny,
What's up?
why did Silent feel the need to swing there?
I was gonna talk about that exactly. Silent didn't need the swing. He just had to overlook and deny anybody swinging him to deny the plant. I don't know why he thought he needed to peek into the light sign of light that was Frozen, who was holding from the hallway. And then also, I believe one player either Spiker swings from hallway into pillar. Nobody's playing the cocktail balcony. There's 5 members live from 2FACED. Where's the coverage to deny that flank, to deny those members from ARIAL Academy from doing just that? Because once you can just deny those smoke canisters, bait out the utility, go for the plant. There's no C4s. There's just the smoke canisters. Again, questions from the setup there from the guys that come that plant from 2FACED, despite having the man advantage. Well, hey, that's past now. We're the present. It's now defense for 2FACED. They can bring it back. 4-2 is a doable have to bring it back.
Oh yeah, this is definitely still doable for 2FACED, of course. Do need to worry a little bit. Defenses are the hard part for Arial, it seems like at times. Attacks, not necessarily so. And, well, again, there are cafes in which Arial has gone entire games without winning an attacking round, so really, who knows how this half could go. 2FACED are going for a little bit of a middle ground between what Arial or Rise Academy did on their defenses. A little bit of site play, a little bit of a roam too, but not as heavy and dedicated as Arial's was on either end of that spectrum. They'll put some players on the top floor to try and waste some time, but mainly focus on that second floor with some reinforcements and the hatch open as well to provide an almost sort of base of operations for that round.
Yeah, they're putting some stock into it compared to what Arial Academy, even when they did the one time they had a sort of roam, they weren't had much stock into it either. But Silent goes down first to Vena.
Okay.
Looks like they're pushing straight into coat check and
Nobody.
Well,
How many
nobody's
times have we seen this in SCS?
Nobody's there to help out Silent. He's by
I swear.
himself in coat check.
Does nobody in this league play somebody in coat check? I swear, this has happened more in the past couple weeks than I have seen in literal years of casting.
Well, honestly, was Silent in coat check or was Silent in kitchen? Is my question.
I'm assuming that Maestro was in kitchen. I mean, he might have been. No, he was not in coat check. Yeah, he was in kitchen.
Oh, so yeah, he's just playing kitchen and nobody's playing coat check to help him out. Wow. Well, with that control, now Vena's going to pressure from coat check, and now that should be forcing the other, roamers to come back to site to deny this from happening, which should allow for, them to not have to worry about the vertical control, though. I also Ace still up there. Hyper's going to kill the poisons. Now these roamers have to make a play.
Even if, sorry, not to circle back, but I mean, like, even if you don't want to play coat check, if you have those holes, you gotta have somebody watching it. You can't have somebody just jump in for free. I'm sorry, I gotta rest this. It's like, if you have the holes too. Anyway, beside the point. Hypers is inside a VIP, catches Splash rotating down, but the Mozzie gets back into the site without much worry. He has some shots fired his way, but doesn't take any damage. He decides to reaggress, push the issue once again, but the fight he takes, he whiffs a lot of, and the second one doesn't fare much better for him come the fight's end. Kicks is the only one right now on the site. He's the only one with a kill as well for 2FACED in this round, and Eddie holding a very powerful position on the freezer hatch. If he's able to take down Hypers, he won't even the man count up. He will make it a 2v3, but still the majority of the problems right now are on Bakery side, and Kicks is the only one who can actively deal with that. Diana taken down, so that's what we thought, but the moment Kicks is filled, Eddie now has to drop down the hatch and try to stop the entirety of Arial Rise's push on through Bakery. Frozen starts putting the bomb on the floor with two players on the coverage. This should be more than enough for Arial to either win this round or get the bomb on the floor. Eddie now on 1 HP too, sends out a C4, but I believe it is shot the moment it detonates it. And what a hell of a pre-fire by Dami right now. Uses actually 130 bullets to not kill Eddie before he takes down Venatorial, but he finally does take him down. First attacking round for Arial. Benny, that was a round. That was a round that happened. Like, if you're not gonna play anybody coat check, you opened up those holes. The only thing they're used for in that round cannot be the Maestro. Like, I'm assuming that the Maestro is not holding them from that position.
He probably was on the camera or something too, because the rover. All right, well, that round, yeah, again, this is like you're talking about. The issue was the fact that, again, maybe the issue with having, mixing or trying to dip into two kind of plays there, like you said, you were not really on either side of the spectrum, is because of weaknesses like that, where you have some people playing on that, on-site horizontal roam there, but you have some people just playing upstairs, some people playing for that roam on top floor. That leaves those weaknesses, and what we saw right there from Arial Academy, they took full advantage, ran right into coat check, fired through that half wall being open onto the Maestro of Silence. Down goes the first player. And from there, Arial Academy, make their way into Bakery, make their way towards the site. And the roamers from 2FACED didn't really make a move. Really, until the point was just they were upstairs waiting for an angle to try and take out some of these attackers on Arial Academy. But with the time they had, they just walk into the site, take control, and it forces the 2FACED members. Well, it didn't really force him. They actually didn't really make a play there. It was actually Kicks on site, the only one to really make a play. He's just sitting on site trying to fight off the members of Arial Academy. And the other members on 2FACED was kind of sitting on the vertical holes, waiting for Arial Academy to walk into them.
And now it takes 8 rounds before we see Mira for the first time. Again, arguably one of the best maps for Mira, but she's banned so often teams don't like to run her, but now Kicks will finally bring her out. This could be what is enough to sort of bolster the sight play for 2FACED, especially on a map like Cocktail. You can create an angle all the way into Cigar, so you don't necessarily need to put somebody in Pixel or put somebody inside of the Humidor if you can have a mirror window holding that entire position and have somebody peek from behind it. Eddie playing down below as well, so if they try to go down and maybe take some control below, of course, there's somebody there to contest. Most importantly, it's just another factor that the attack has to worry about in case he peeks up red stairs, goes for a play. There's the Malusi they have to worry about.
So he sees the air jab. He's gonna wait for a second just to make sure nobody knows his position. Shoots it out.
Oh, that was
the
beautiful
sound.
timing.
That was perfect.
That was
Oh.
beautiful. I love that.
That is timing right there. So nobody should know he's there. Oh, no clue. Hypers just no idea that somebody's at the bottom. It just thinks the air jump has his cover. But again, like we've seen before, you can't always put all of that pressure or all of that stock into just one air jab, expecting it to cover your entire flank. So now Hypers goes down a pair of grenades that may have been needed. There's still 2 more in the hands of Vena. But will they be able to get the pixel control they need? Well, they don't even care pixel because, again, that mirror window's there. And that's going to be a problem. They have to somehow clear out the player inside a bathroom playing that position. Looks like he's just waiting with a shotgun, expecting someone to swing him, really.
Nobody Cocktail side right now to deal with it. You have Frozen at that white window, but if there's anybody he can really deal with, it's only Poison, the mute inside a bathroom right now that he can actively deal with. Kix is relatively safe in this position based on where the attackers are positioned. If Poison falls, though, that could be problematic as, okay, Splash just peeks the window, and I wouldn't say he gets smoked by Frozen, but he does get killed by Frozen, and the sledge just repels in while Poison is in the bathroom still. A 2-piece for the mute so far. Don't really know what happened to Venatorial. Maybe that was an accidental repel based on his exclamation of frustration in the chat. But whatever's happening, it's not going well for Arial Academy, and I think we can all agree on that. Spiker left alone on the Cocktail repel right now. Not much a Nomad with only 1 air jab and 2 flashbangs to do. Probably just going to take a tactical timeout. Or effective tactical timeout.
Yeah, just take the time and take 25 seconds just to sit on the roof and talk about that round because, I'm not sure how to really talk about the round either, because really, Eddie being able to get aggressive. They think an air jab's all they need to hold them off, but he shoots the air jab at the same time. They open up that wall with the X-Gyros pellets. Make sure you can mask that noise, gets that first pick in Hypers. And then from there, again, the issue is that mirror inside a bathroom. Sitting in mirror, just watching out towards bar, towards piano, denying any push from that cigar piano side. So from there, they go to the White's window. But again, Splash swings it, dies, which is a start for Aero Academy to start bringing that, momentum back. But then you had members like Venom just jump through the window, maybe a mistake, like was talking about, may have been. He just runs into the bathroom, gets shot in the face. And then also, member of Dami just kind of peeking the doorway, crouch walking through, also gets shot in the face. And from there, it kind of goes downhill entirely.
Yeah. That round was just kind of, that was an odd one. I don't know what happened with Vena, if it was an accidental repel or what it was, but wasn't good. Was not good. Does mean that 2FACED get their Cocktail defense. Thought we had a timeout, but just kidding. We had you fooled. Poison said never mind, and Eddie also said never mind. So we will not be having a timeout. Could take one if they wanted. I mean, down 5-3, talk about things going on. But no, they'll instead just go to Reading Room and Fireplace with no tactical timeout, Benny. They will go to Reading Room and Fireplace with a mirror, though. Something that you mentioned worked very well for them on Cocktail and can work very well here. Put a mirror window on that dining wall to hold that site. Put a mirror window on the top floor to aid the roamers who will be sitting up top, trying to hold that position for as long as they can. This is the benefit of Mira on Cafe. Both of these positions, and especially this Mira on the freezer wall, has so much impact on 2 separate sites. It's so simple, yet so powerful.
It's all I usually see mirror banned.
I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah, when they banned Clash, I was like, sure, the Clash play we saw from Poison was strong, but that was only on that top floor site where it really worked. So them banning Clash was a question mark in my head, but we'll see what happens here. We'll see if they're able to deal with this mirror. Like you said before, it's strong though. You can watch the entire piano side from that mirror over by, Lumber. And then you can play off of that mirror white stairs and deny the push into Fireplace. You don't even need to peek it even. You just know they're there and just pre-fire it. So unless you have someone go up those white stairs in some kind of play or use some kind of way of destroying it from the white stairs window, which is still risky plays to make. It's going to be quite a headache here for Ariel Academy. Oh, they have some intel so far. Let's see how they deal with it so far. And well, hopefully this time Eddie also doesn't, spring on them early when they're not expecting it.
That would be good, though it was very entertaining to see him time his shots as if he was a sniper. That was pretty cool, not gonna lie. Splash gets aggressive on that white window, but Hypers is there, just not in a position to suffer any of the damage that Splash was hoping to dish out. And in fact, it's the Alibi who takes the first bit in the round as Hyper sends a nade up in response that does a little bit of damage, but nothing to write home about. Splash can still not only go on walking pretty easily, but in fact, roam downstairs on that first floor. Okay. 2x Kairos bounce back at Frozen. But hey, honestly, Benny, still plenty to open up that mirror window and force Silent back. That's not the most important one. Most important is Kix's mirror window.
Yeah, I thought that Kix would have a mute jammer on it, but it doesn't actually. So they should have no problem opening it and pushing Kix out. So it should be actually quite a lot easier for them to deal with this top floor roam. And of course, Dami getting a kick on the Kix is great. The Hypers refrags on the poison after poison had dealt with Spiker. And so far, hey, this roam clear has gone pretty well, and they have time, though they hit some sledge of Vena as well, so they should have quite a bit of time here to play with that top floor and great to execute. Hopefully have a better X compared to 2FACED one when they had that top floor control when we saw from 2FACED.
Good counter for that Mira. Minute left. All you've lost is that Nomad. Still good looks for Arial Academy so far. Okay, I was about to say, we aren't hearing anything, though, so that's a little worrying. But now, as if the entire round was just frozen for about 5 seconds. No pun intended. They will now get to work sledging open that floor. Trying to find, potentially, Eddie sitting around side of train. We already saw how problematic that position can be if it's not found. Same with Splash. Looking to try and rotate up those white stairs. Dami, of course, can put a stop to that if he's watching that position. But oh no, somebody's got to be watching it. Dami! When he smoked off the face of the earth, he had a chance to fight back, but not before Splash sent him into the Shadow Realm. Now Splash on low HP, it's really effectively up to Eddie to stop this site push. You're right, no cover for Frozen, but that changes right as Hypers peeks through. But what is this? He still somehow gets the kill. This has been the most confusing gunfights I've seen, but it results in a round win for 2FACED as Venatorial cannot get a grip on anything that has happened.
That literally was a turning point right there. We just killed him.
Bro, I felt like I was watching that Eddie round again. Like, please, just kill him.
So, well, all right. Well, that round still big on Arial Academy to deal with that mirror. Again, it wasn't mute jammed. They didn't actually have to really open it up with the X Gyros. They just had someone X Gyros at single wall towards Cocktail, push that player out, have someone on the rappel on the Cocktail windows, deal with Kicks, just push them out of the positions. They kill Kicks too, which was good there. They get that control they need. They go to work with a minute left. And again, the big point is getting that control and creating execute. And with that broken control, you then have to create the execute, open things up. But the big thing there was Splash, running up white, getting that kill on the Dami, creates confusion for Arial Academy, losing your member who was holding off the flank. Then leads you to try to rush for the execute. Frozen gets insight, starts planting. The problem was the cover. There was nobody covering initially, allowing for Eddie to just run into reading, get in a position to deny Frozen, and even when someone then came to become that cover, unfortunately they were too late. Eddie gets that pick, Frozen goes down, there's no time left. Eddie, the person who was covering him too, I believe maybe it was Hypers, he gets picked off by a flanker as well, leaving Vena on the top floor by himself. No time left to grab the diffuser, no time to get the kills he needs to. Ends the round right there for 2FACED, and well, they're coming back 4 or 5. They need one more round.
5 seconds to go.
On Kitchen 2, it's the only side that 2FACED have won, but, well, sorry. It's the only side they won on their attack. They won it twice, but of course we are talking about a different side. But hey, what's the difference, really? Just, the entire game. See Eddie going for a spawn peek right now, but there are people that spawned over there. They aren't exactly within the purview of that window. It's Kicks, excuse me, not Eddie that was spawn peeking there. Got the 1.5 confused, but still there is nobody going for this angle, and yet he persists. And now his patience is almost rewarded, but he only does a little bit of damage to Spiker.
He's just waiting for it. Oh, the timing. Splash jumps out. Great catch on Dami, unaware of that, not expecting it, by himself on the rappel. Nobody from Arial Academy to play for the refrag, and he gets away scot-free. And that's unfortunately, again, being with your teammates and synchronizing that play would at least lead to a refrag. And Eddie's there, he's just kind of waiting for a drop. Maybe didn't hear it exactly there. He gets shot a bit, but he's able to get away with his life. And so far, 2FACED is still looking good when it comes to the kills. They didn't waste a whole lot of time, but they still got to pick off onto Dami, who has been that entry fragger.
Yep. And at this point, a minute wasted. I don't believe the hatch is open, so they can rotate back down and still use that hatch that is... Oh, no, it is open, actually. They just decided to use the stairs instead. Want to get more exercise in. So while the hatch is open, still, either way, ARIAL Academy need to open up those floors. They need to do more work to make, say, a hatch drop effective if they want to go that way, try and clear out, say, kicks from inside of VIP. So there's a lot of work ARIAL still have to do. They can afford to rotate, having wasted, give or take a few seconds, about half the round. Now that all that is gone, Kicks and Splash are going to be the two most problematic entities for ARIAL to clear right now, as they're the only ones outside of the site that can still hold some control.
Well, so far in this vertical play, like again, especially because most of the players are elsewhere, and a C4 deals with their soft breacher in Venatorial, is going to be difficult. Of course, because melees aren't playing below those vertical holes, so it's going to be on the members of ARIAL Academy to take these fights like I was talking about. It's going to be trying to deal with these members like Kicks. Kicks is getting pinched in two positions, but someone's playing his Whiskey to help him out here. Flash just comes through. Kicks gets shot from one position. Vo Hyper is great position. Walks in. He takes out two, actually. Denies both Whiskey in VIP. So it becomes more possible, but again, another C4. Great C4s from 2FACED. Making it down to Spiker and Hypers, and there's no heart breacher. They full reinforce the freezer wall.
There's no hard breaching, but Hypers have been able to get the kills so far. One opportunity presents itself to Spiker, the other man alive on ARIAL Academy right now. It's an effective 2v2, or it is a 2v2 to be more specific. But Spiker's the only one who can cover, and there you go, an angle open to Eddie to shoot Hyper's leg, and unfortunately the Nomad can't react in time. 5-2 to 5-5 for 2FACED as the rounds are now even, and 2FACED have won every single defensive site they've gone to, and their only weakness, they just won it.
Yeah, looking good for 2FACED, and well, ARIAL Academy, you talk about their attacks have been great on other maps. Well, so far in Cafe, not so much, unfortunately. A lot of weaknesses, a lot of things that have been exploited by 2FACED. We're going back to Bar and Cocktail for a try, and the mirror's up again for this play. And really, now that they've dealt with it once, can they figure a way to deal with it this time, though? Last time seems to be a bit of a mistake from Vena, from other players on ARIAL Academy. Are they going to be able to do it this time? Just maybe throw a grenade, see if they can burn the player in there, kill them with a grenade? What are they going to do to deal with it?
Yeah, aside from those two kills from Hypers that he just got pushing into VIP, there really wasn't a lot of bright spots for ARIAL on that attack. But Benny, before I was like, oh 2FACED. Don't you worry. There's other opportunities. There is still map 3 as an opportunity for 2FACED. So perhaps I was too quick on the trigger to plug our mid-season tournament and our stage 2 qualifiers. The first of which taking place from January 3rd to the 5th. The second taking place January 7th to the 9th and the 14th to the 16th. Perhaps I jumped the gun on that. I think I got a bit too aggressive.
really making sure that 2FACED is going to be there.
The mid-season tournament might be free registration.
Oh.
The stage 2 qualifiers are not.
If you want.
But you know what is free?
What else is free?
Not this map. I don't know, man.
Shut up. Oh my god. Well, hey. If you're not in stage 1, you got a chance at the tournament. Stage 2 coming up qualifiers too. So the chance there for teams that didn't make it here in stage 1 to make it in these other stages. Well, so far we'll see what ARIAL Academy has in store. C4 thrown by Kicks. Unfortunately, there's a sledge, so it just kind of falls to the floor. No kill. And now at this point, there is some players pushing towards the second floor, looking to clear it out. Nobody so far from ARIAL Academy has pushed it quite. They're just kind of droning things out, figuring what's next for them. As Splash is down there, Domby's in a position to try and kill his player. He knows one's on white, has some intel, maybe one's inside a fireplace, but doesn't have any, determined intel, some stone concrete intel to deal with Splash.
Splash does get a kill onto Frozen, but Dami's thankfully there for the trade, so not much is lost for the moment in terms of the man count for Ariel Academy. Do lose one body, but they gain another in response. Especially, it is Buck. They do get a C4, but the Buck is the heart and soul of a cocktail take, but thankfully, never mind, I thought Hypers was going to get that kill, but Eddie only suffers half of his health in damage before taking shelter behind the railing on those white stairs, and if Hypers wants to get that kill, make it a 3v4, he's got to use that grenade. It's exactly what he'll do. Dami's setting up some concussions in response, and the nade lands at Eddie's feet. Not much he could do. He accepts his fate and gives Ariel the 3v4.
Another one. Oh, it passes right by his face. The Poison stays alive, though. Sees a grenade fly past his face and maybe looking for a chance to jump out that window. But it looks like at this point, the cocktail play, without the Buck, though, can they still make it happen? They have the man advantage, though. They just gotta seem to try and find a way in because they still haven't made much control. Dami makes a hole. Great shots through the floor from Hypers. Kicks, though, with a return on the Spiker, though. Still a 3v2. Pre-fires come out onto the member of way past there. Kicks is way back there. Pink. Wait, Poison.
Poison?
Poison?
Hello?
Did you not see the indicator? Was there like a glitch on his side and you just didn't see it?
I don't know. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, surely, yeah, okay.
Well, that was unfortunate, which could have maybe they brought it back, but really, unfortunately, you're in a 2v3 going for that cocktail execute, and with 2 members left, and well, I guess really then at that point, they could have made it happen, though, as long as you deny the white stairs push.
Yeah. Either way, it's not like, I mean, while it was the kill that put it into a 1v4, there were other downsides to 2FACED in that round.
Yeah.
Poison was on white stairs, and even if he dodges that nade, in all likelihood, he's still getting cleared from that position. He might go nuke. Won't count out Mr. P. But it was still a 2v4 at that point.
Yeah.
And while they lost the Buck early, Ariel did not seem to break much of a sweat or lose much of their step going forward into the round. Now they're on match point.
Defenders, protect your
They're able to win another site other than Kitchen. That is important. It was the only site they had won so far. They proved they can do it somewhere else. Proved that they can make it work. Even without a Buck on the cocktail side. But Benny, they just go back to their take that didn't work before. Can they make it work this time?
Now, this is going to be a testament on him. If they can just win this right here, 2-0, 2FACED, prove us all entirely wrong, and go on to semifinals. That would be great to see. But again, this is a play before where they had a bit of maybe a misstep. Don't know really if it was a misstep or not.
Is it too late to change my prediction?
For me, can I?
Is it too late? Can I change it? Please? My prediction?
His prediction.
Can I please change it? On 6-5 match point 1-0 Ariel. Can I change it to Ariel Academy? Is that okay? Is that within the rules? The answer's no. That would be silly. I'm not gonna do that. Oh! Is he gonna do it? Hey!
Did he really change it for you?
Don't actually change that. Put it back to 2FACED. I hope you didn't actually change it.
That's funny. But so far as my 2FACED are looking not only to have that mirror control to deny the push to piano, but also members downstairs and reading on that second floor to deny if they're going for that same cocktail push. But 2FACED hearing those hatches open up a red, maybe looking to play that aggressively now, maybe knowing that they're not going to go for that cocktail take. And it looks like maybe is oh yeah, Dami's just getting on the stage with him most likely.
Yeah, it's where Dami was last time. It's where we saw... Well, actually, no. Actually, it was Hypers. It was Hypers playing this position last time with a shotgun on their defensive half. Wasn't able to get a kill. But now, as opposed to that defensive half, there's players on both the stage window and another cigar window, and neither of them are the one that gets the kill. Instead, it's just Venatorial just running a drive-by on Splash, just sitting alone inside a cigar. It's pretty easy for Venatorial to pick up, actually, so... Now it's pretty easy 4v4 at that. There's kicks down below with the C4 to play with, but they're able to clear this out pretty quickly. But now Poison has some responses in mind.
Well, that's unfortunate. I believe maybe Dami was on the white stairs window, but trying to get a pinch on him. But looks at this point, they're trying to push their way through with intel here from the Maestro, actually from the BP, watching that position. So they know they're pushing for piano. And again, that mirror is the issue here. Can they clear this mirror? If they can destroy that mute jammer inside a bathroom, then open it up with that X-Skyros to push him out. Eddie downstairs, maybe take a fight from below onto that new balk. Venom takes heavy damage, down by Silent with that AA-12 there. So this is gonna be an issue here. He's trying to push through actually, and Frozen makes it happen after getting that refrag. He walks into bar, gets another pick on it, kicks as well.
Okay.
He has control of bar. Now the members of the defense have to push back in. They have a mirror, but it's not much in this position.
Estimate on the players. Now that Eddie's the only one left. There it is. 2-0 for Ariel Academy. We all get our predictions wrong. 2FACED, the CL team I thought had made enough improvements to go to the semis. It is not the case. They fared better against the main team than their academy counterparts in Ariel Academy. They're the ones that move on to the semis.
Oh, wow. We are proven so very wrong today. And, oh, that's definitely something to see because, I have some, didn't think much of this team, but they proved me entirely wrong because these are members who have played in, of course, in competitive, members of these teams from CL, from other T3 leagues, but they all came back to Siege after, coming back for fun. They thought this was a pug stack, but they've proven they're more than just a pug stack.
Oh, definitely. Now they will be turning some heads after that one, definitely. However, Benny, they do have to play one shot next.
Oh, God.
Little bit of a different story, but I always say that with Ariel Rise Academy. I'm like, okay, they beat this team, but they still got to beat this team. All right, they beat that team. They still got, yeah, keep moving the goalposts. I'm like, all right, they did it, but now they got to play this team. I'm like, but every time a challenger comes up, it might be close. It might take everything they have in them, but they are starting to win consistently, and now they've made it to the semis. Do I think they'll beat one shot? No. But nobody thought they'd be 2FACED, and they still beat them 2-0.
Are they all of age? Can they go for CL?
Yes, except Dami.
Oh.
Wait, Dami actually...
Is Dami 18?
Might be 18.
Oh.
I can't
It'd be cool
remember.
to see his team make it to CL if they want to see.
No, wait, no, I'm stupid. Spiker's the only one that's not 18. I'm dumb, sorry.
Oh, and Spiker's been crazy too. Unfortunate. Oh.
Yeah. Unlucky.
Unlucky, but still, yeah, this team has shown us really they've turned all of our heads quite around. We have nobody on the in our production had faith in this team so far, and they've changed it time and time again. They proved us wrong, and maybe they'll prove us wrong against one shot. But hey, one shot have also been looking crazy as of late.
Yeah. Well, again, against 2FACED, congratulations to Ariel today, and of course that is our first series done for the night. We will have, of course, a player interview. I'm assuming with Frozen, he's normally the one that does the interviews on those teams. I think I've interviewed Dami on the team, but Frozen is normally the one I always picture talking during the interviews.
I think you did. Yeah, I think we interviewed Dami last week, I believe.
Yeah, Dami and Frozen. I've interviewed them both plenty of times over the years, but we'll also have some stats to go over with this map in particular, and then by the end of the series, talk over the whole series stats. As Benny, it's a bit of a quicker one than I expected. I said it might go to 3 maps, but, well, it went, not only did it not go to 3 maps, it went to 2 maps, and the opposite team I thought would win ended up winning. So
yeah, I think most of us thought it was going to be a quick 2-0 and 2FACED favor.
Not most of us. Well, okay. I kind of jumped the gun a bit. I thought you were going to say most of us thought 2FACED to win. I was like, no, all of us thought they'd win. But I don't know if we all thought it'd be a 2-0 or 2-1. I don't know. What I do know are the stats in front of you show that Eddie, Poison, putting in a lot of work, but the other members of the team, though they had some moments, I feel like each individually had at least one moment I could point to. Beyond that, not very much. Whereas with Ariel Arise Academy, I think what we can all be happy to say at the end of the day, it was not a top-heavy performance. Sure, on map number 2, Spiker and Venom might have taken the lead, but everyone put in the work in some shape, way, or fashion.
Yeah, nobody was, at the bottom of the board where they had to get picked up by another player. Everyone was doing their due diligence, and that's great to see. That's what we wanted to see from this team, because so far in previous matches, it's been a performance where it was Spiker, it was Vena just doing all of the work in those previous matches when it came to the regular season, and now we're seeing this team really come together, play a lot better. And I say that we saw their attacks were great, actually. It's like at certain times there are issues, but when it came to clubhouse attacks, they were great. The defenses on Cafe were looking fantastic. Again, the question is going to be that map pool, though, when it comes to taking one shot, because we haven't seen them play a map that's, out of that the T3 normal maps like Villa, Cafe, Clubhouse.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely ask Frozen, who will be doing the interview, about the potential performance against one shot. But until then, I also want to see how he feels about going to the semis. So, Frozen, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty fantastic, not gonna lie.
I know you're probably very happy that I'm doing the interview because in a private group chats and DM conversations, I have done a little bit of hating on your team. I will say In fact, everyone in the production predicted that you would lose today. Well, not you specifically, but that ARIAL would lose today, and yet you come out not only 2-0 2FACED, but 7-2 them on club. And honestly, maybe you disagree. Feel free to comment. I feel like this was the best performance I've seen out of your team this entire stage.
I mean, yeah. Definitely just like more time playing together. That has very much helped us. Like, given we've only scrimmed like we basically have only had time to scrim the day before every game, just because of the way people's schedules working. Like, Benna was gone all last week. I was gone all the week before our surf game, and then for our first game, I was in another country playing from a LAN center. So just the more time we actually have to play together, we definitely have learned to play off each other better. And as well, like, shout out to Spiker, he's been doing all the prep work that a coach would do by himself just to do it.
Ooh.
And he's seen that, like, especially with this team, they do the same stuff a lot of the time. And we were able to get a lot of free kills and a lot of rounds off of just the things that he did. So very much appreciated.
Well, and so going into that, I know Benny and I talked about it before. We were kind of talking, who is all 18 on this roster? Who's the underager? Spiker is the only underager. I want to just talk about Spiker's impact for a little bit, because he is a player that I think, a lot of us think is very good, but I also know that amongst the gunners and the newers, Spiker isn't talked about as much. What role, aside from the coaching, what about in-game does Spiker bring to the team that you think maybe is underrated?
Honestly, Spiker, as much as this team admittedly has, like, everyone wants to be the leader, like, we have a lot of very vocal players, but he has a lot of really good ideas, and he knows when to get aggressive and when to fall back. So he's really good at just getting random kills at the beginning of rounds, especially on defense, and then also getting away with his life. And, like, for me at least, that makes things a lot easier than having someone that's always, like, super far ahead, because I don't have to tell him to fall back, and that's very much appreciated, especially from underagers. And Dami is also underage still.
That's what I couldn't remember. I know Dami just graduated high school. I couldn't remember if he was 17 or 18 yet, so that was the only thing I couldn't remember. But you've now beat 2FACED, but your next opponent is One Shot. And I've always felt like you guys are the underdogs, and I always predict against you, and you always subvert my expectations. But going against One Shot, this might be your toughest opponent to date. But you said that you started playing a lot more together, and you're feeling like this might be the best form your team has been at. You think you got enough to take down One Shot? I'm assuming you're going to say yes, but
I mean, I can't tell, because they are a very, very good team. And even though we've been playing really well together, we are still a pug sec at the end of the day. So we're kind of just have to go out, do what we've been doing. Hopefully we're all shooting at the same time. And if we all do that, then we probably have a pretty good chance of winning anyway.
Well, Benny and I, again, commented that probably at least in the aggregate across your roster, this was probably the day where all of you, especially on map number 2, were putting in an equal effort amongst anyone. Not Spiker, of course, Spiker being at the top, but everyone it felt like was having an impact. So congratulations, Frozen, on your victory today. Anything you want to say to the people watching, and maybe One Shot, as they are your next opponent in the semifinals?
Well, as to One Shot, I can say I love your coach. He's the homie.
Shout out to Jared.
Shout out to Jared. And yeah, but just thanks to everyone who's been predicting us to win in the chat, not in the casters.
Yeah, sorry, that's our fault.
Anyone just enjoying our games, watching the games, people in like the super co-stream, like making fun of us, like everyone watching, it's just, that's what we're here for. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. We love to play, so we'll keep trying to put on a good show.
Well, I can always count on that from you, Frozen. And I might not predict you to win against One Shot, but I am always in your corner, Ethan. So congratulations on your victory today, and I'm looking forward to see how you step up and perform against One Shot in the semis.
Thank you very much.
Now, as you can see, getting some of the full series stats up. Again, going to show that it was not Spiker at the top. I should have maybe asked about it in the interview. It was Ethan, Frozen last name. Not Doctor.
Ethan Frozen last name.
Yeah, the top leaderboards.
He was at top, yeah. 22 and 15, 1.31 rating there. He was doing the best. And really, yes, we saw Clubhouse. Clubhouse, he was leading the charge. He had to kind of make up for Venna, who wasn't doing so well on that map. But I would say it's definitely great to see on Cafe, though. Everyone was putting in their work. There wasn't anybody had to be, totally, carried in that sense.
Yeah. And of course, for the side of 2FACED as well, Eddie having a pretty solid series, but really he was the only one that had a consistent performance throughout. It wasn't terrible from the likes of Kicks and Silent, even Poison on map number 2, but ARIAL Arise, again, for a team that seemed to be a little bit top-heavy, seemed to have a little bit of an inconsistent performance in a best-of-3. They were the most consistent team today, and they're the ones that take the victory. Benny, Couple things. One more shout out to our sponsor, or to our other sponsor, Mavix Gaming Chairs. They're running a holiday sale right now. We talked about before, this super cool sale. You use code NSG55 at checkout at mavix.com/nerdstreet. You get $55 off. That was pretty cool. They're also running a holiday sale. You can save 4, 5, 7, even 9% plus free shipping if you combine that with your code NSG55 at checkout. So, of course, thank you to Mavix Gaming Chairs, as always, for being a great sponsor for SCS. But Benny, before we jump into the second series of the night, anything you want to say before you and I sign off?
Not really, besides the fact that, hey, if you didn't make it here, if you've been kicked out like the sign of 2FACED have, there still is a tournament coming up and the second stage qualifiers. So, hey, don't sign off just yet. Don't jump off the siege ship just yet.
Yeah, you'll hear more about the mid-season tournament and the Stage 2 qualifiers later on in our second series of the night, but Benny and I will not be the ones guiding you through that. It'll be CDAPS and Cookies, Connor and CJ, who will guide you through the fourth quarterfinal match overall. So until then, we're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back with some more Siege in just a few minutes.